Hello
What
and welcome everybody to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I am not your dungeon master, but I am your host for tonight as we once again play Open Legend, the open source role-playing game, and I have with me back my lovely players and of course Brian and Brian's beard. So how are you guys? Let's go around, see how we're doing, how we're feeling, who we're playing, and what happened last time. So I'll start with Brian. How are you?
Doing good. I'm excited to see see if I can't take out some player characters. No, I'm just kidding. I'd say the chances of that are low. It is an introductory adventure after all. Don't want to be too harsh. So,
Of course, of course.
but I'm good.
Nice. Let's go around. And Sydney, how are you?
I'm okay. Things are okay.
Good,
I'm
good.
chilling.
And remind us who you are playing tonight.
I'm playing Maggie Ruth, the little farm girl with a tumor.
Yes. Tell us more about this
She's
protrusion.
I
She's
forgot about that.
Yep. We
she's
hoped she
a
would too, but
I blocked it from my brain.
Well, it's not blocked from mine.
Exactly. I knew that was coming.
Fuck.
So,
She's a Fey-touched monk.
Yes, I am playing Zane, the the dragon. What's it? Dragon blood mage. He's kind of a mind mage. Likes to manipulate the mind, and well, currently he's investigating the ancient monkey tomb. Or something along those lines.
We
go-
remember the plot.
We'll go into the full recap in a moment. But Mitch, how are you? And who are you playing tonight, mate?
I am doing well. Tired as school is ramping up, but excited to take a break from all of that mind-numbing business to play some games. So excited about it. I am playing Gruak, the half-orc druid, who's kind of like the pestilence druid. He sort of specializes in sickness and death, as that is also part of natural cycles in his mind. So he's the stinky, dirty half-orc who only speaks in like monosyllables. And I think he's got a decent rapport with Finn's character. But I'll let Finn elaborate on that a little bit.
Hello. I am Finbar. You may know me from such places.
you
No.
you might have heard of me.
Uh,
I'm rather
I'm
famous
kind of a
around
big
these
deal.
parts.
But yes, I am playing Crag Ironheart, who is a excessively cultured small dwarf who likes to throw icicles at his problems, no matter what they are, be it angry demon monkeys or his friends or giant doors. Any problem he can't icicle. And yes, I mean, me and for some reason, even though I am very insistent that this entire island is filled with savages, me and Gruak do get along relatively well.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact he's kind of magical. I'm like, I respect that you have magical capacities. Everyone else is a dumbass and has bad table manners.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, I also rolled your giant orb through the woods
Yes.
for you, so
That is true.
I mean, you were the one complaining we didn't have food. I found food and I preserved it in a giant ball of ice.
Nice. But before we get into the recap, you guys might be wondering why are we here an hour later than usual. Well, you can blame America for this, because as with most of our problems, you can blame America. No, the clocks change in America. They don't change in the UK until 2 weeks' time, until the 27th, the last Sunday of March for us. And so for the next 2 weeks, we'll be here at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST, but they're still the same time in the UK/Eurozone places. So that hasn't changed. But if you're an American, you're an hour later, so it might actually work well for you because you might be back from work, school, whatever. So for the next 2 weeks, keep that in mind. 5 p.m. and
Wait.
9 p.m.
Is
Yes.
that savings 2 weeks?
If you wanted to be extra confused, we could say that we'll be here, that the show will be at 4 p.m. EST and 5 p.m. EDT.
Yes.
Oy vey.
Sorry.
let's make
Time
that-
zones, people.
I
I,
couldn't-
didn't
I
realize
couldn't
that
help
daylight
it.
savings lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That
it's
is-
the last week of March. Yeah, for us, the last Sunday of March, apparently, according to the government website, which I looked at today. It could be a lie because I don't trust the government, but But that's what I'm going with, so there we
The
go.
filthy
The
government.
filthy,
You're like a-
lying to us about the hours.
Any kind of NPC in the division.
Yes.
Um,
So anyway, let's put that aside and remind ourselves what on earth happened last time on Open Legend: A Star Once Fallen. So Brian, do you want us to recap, or do you want to give us a bit of a starting?
I'm curious. I always like to hear from the player's
Yeah.
perspective, and then I can add if I feel like something really critical was missed.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us?
Okay. So as I recall, we were washed up on a beach. We were the only survivors of a ship, and on this kind of jungle island,
so
kind of desert island. Yeah, that's true. And then we heard a scream off into the jungle, so we went to investigate, and it was a lizard being
Yes.
attacked by monkeys. Now I make the distinction
Flying
because
monkeys.
my character
Flying
Zane
monkeys.
doesn't know the difference between monkeys and lizards, and so he calls them all monkeys. But we saved the lizard from these flying monkeys that were attacking him. We killed most of them. One of them got away, and we went to talk to him. And my character, being a knowledgeable scholar, he's a gentleman and scholar, he could speak to him, and I've forgotten his name now. I didn't write it down, but I did write down that
like
the lizard...
Jub Jub or something.
No, that's Josh's safe
I think
word.
it's Glibnab, and then the Chief Bick Bick.
Big Vic, there
That
we go.
sounds right.
But the tribe of the lizards are the Wapuni, or the Wapuni, and the enemies of the lizards are the Wapango, according to them. Because we went back to their kind of home base, went back to their little tribe, and we spent the night with, well, not in that way, but we did spend the night there with the chieftain, who was very pleased because we'd frozen one of his lizard enemies, no, monkey enemies.
Monkey.
Monkey enemies. Yeah, you did it. Yeah. and then we dragged him back, and he was very happy. Mitch, do you want to pick up from there?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
So, sure. I do recall a couple of details we found out while we were fighting. The monkeys were not just like weird monkeys. Gruak like inspected them a little bit, and they're sort of a weird hybrid between monkeys and bats. And Gruak is pretty convinced that they're not a natural creature. They're not like Frankenstein-esque. They're not like physically stitched together, but they're definitely the product of some kind of magical manipulation. So there's something fishy going on in this island to begin with. And yeah, so then when we were in the Wapuni village, we were trying to find out, one, how can we help them potentially, but also we need to get off this island, so we needed like a boat. And they were saying that they could get their shamans to conjure up a strong, favorable wind to sail us off of the island. They can't really provide a boat, so we're still kind of a little bit up in the air about finding a ship. But they said they'd be able to convince their shamans to get us favorable winds if we were to help them in their little sort of tribal war. So they need us to retrieve a staff of some sort, a magical, powerful staff that is used by their sort of opponents.
The Scepter of Kings.
Yeah.
Staff of Kings, yeah.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
We also
So we need to
he was part where Zane was
scepter.
quite willing to enslave the
Oh, yes.
people we were going to go fight to build us a new boat.
Yeah. So,
Because we really are laying it on thick with the colonialism here.
yeah. Again, like,
Hey,
if we can blame most of our problems on
Two
America.
Brits wash up on an island. Yeah.
I keep saying this is just like Thanksgiving.
For a reason.
We have
So,
yet to bring smallpox, so we're in the clear.
it's only a matter of
Well,
time.
that you know of. You may have sneezed and caused some
I
issues.
mean,
but
Gruak is around and is literally a being of death and decay.
there are
Yeah, that's true.
flies all around me.
So we
There's
went...
also somebody with a tumor in the
Yeah, so
party as well. So
Yeah.
bringing on the sickness stick.
yeah.
Yes, I don't really know. I don't know if you guys remember anything about the scepter in particular, like what it
No, we
does.
didn't
So
hear much about
I think
that.
that's still a bit of a question mark.
The so
and
the next thing
we were
that
heading to sort of large. Yeah. So we're heading to like the large ziggurat, the major sort of temple that we think is where we're going to find this. But in order to get there, and Finbar, you can sort of pick up from here and describe what's sort of between us and the ziggurat, because I think it's some kind of ruins or like a ruined city or something.
Yeah, so we came to a sort of, well, first we came to the walls of a giant ruined city, and kind of along these walls there were lots of murals of I think there was sort of a humanoid No, were they a snake body?
Welcome,
race or
mortal.
something? I can't remember now. But they and we had images of like large humanoids and then the Wapuni kind of as like subservient races to them in these murals.
That's right.
And eventually we came to a very large stone gate, which I decided the fastest way through was to sort of like freeze thaw it until I kind of cracked off large enough parts of stone for us to walk through. And we kind of were moving into this ruined city towards Ziggurat, and that was I think
We had a
roughly
viewer
where we
decision,
left.
didn't we?
Yes, a viewer decision
Yeah,
occurred.
mysterious one. We don't know what it is yet.
Yes, it was. The idea was it would be what we would find within the Ziggurat amongst the other mysteries, but we do not know yet. Only Brian and I believe Will might.
I do. I am aware. But don't worry, I'm a method actor. So
I know.
So yeah, and before we get into today's game, I guess I think that's pretty much all the recap we've done. Thank you so much to Deathberry for following. Welcome, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar. And once again, thank you to Raltef. You are awesome guys. If you haven't followed yet, hit that follow button. Join us. If you haven't retweeted, you can get another viewer decision by 25 retweets. If you haven't patroned, that should be a verb. If you haven't patroned,
We've discussed this before.
yeah, haven't become a patron,
It's
then
the,
consider. And do, of course, check out Open Legend that we're playing tonight. Exclamation point, Open Legend. And Brian, I believe you have kind of a teaser announcement thing at the end of the show that you wanted to...
Oh yeah.
mention.
So if you, for anyone who makes it to the end, I will. It's not going to be shared very publicly yet, but I'm going to release the very early. This is like, you know how there's like a first edition. Well, this is edition 0 of this adventure module. So like you'll have to download it, save it. It'll be worth millions of dollars someday since it will never be printed. You know, so make sure you do that.
It'll never... I love it. Cool.
Cool.
Getting all these hot exclusives over
Yeah.
here at Encounter Roleplay. Hot exclusives.
Absolute fire.
Keep saying those words and keep making everyone a little bit uncomfortable.
Never say. Never
Hot
say
exclusives.
I hate it.
Oh my god.
I have no idea what's
You're the
going
worst.
on right now. What? I've never heard that before.
I never
Oh,
want
man.
to again.
Yeah. I mean,
Chat, make it a thing.
Oh.
All exclusives are now hot exclusives.
Exclamation point, hot exclusives.
Yes.
Alright then. So, Brian, take us away into a land far, far away.
Far away from
Please,
the...
far away from hot exclusives.
Man. All right. Well, I will remind everybody of a sort of prophecy or fortune that was told by the captain, the now dead captain. His mother-in-law was some sort of a soothsayer who spoke this
Never liked me.
during the storms, which eventually racked the ship and marooned them on this island. It was a star once fallen upon the land, bring sword and axe and spell at hand. For planted deep like evil seed, it fills heart, soul, and mind with greed. Shoulders broad and voices tiny, ceaseless war of clashing armies. In sleep the beauty whispers well, but her worm-tongued song is ever fell. A royal staff and hands upright shall end the long eternal fight. But try you might and try you may, the star will rise another day. And with that, we will jump back to
On
where
that
we left
bombshell.
off.
hashtag pro tip.
I recognize.
Pro tip from Squire Ned in chat: people who can see the future decrease the survival chance of everyone around them by 50%. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's legit.
Nice. Yeah, well, fortunately she's not alive, so I think you guys
Right?
She was wrecked on that ship. Now we're Gucci. God, I'm dropping memes tonight. I think. Move along.
So
many
you guys are
memes.
here, and
Yes.
where we left off was you had sort of cracked the door, and so you can sort of move your characters where you want to be. This being the door, or this being the huge gateway. Where
So this
we
is the
left.
gateway to the ruined city.
Yep.
Okay. So it's like the ruined city that leads up to the big ziggurat at the back.
Yes. And I think we haven't really been told where the scepter was, but our general thinking was, well, there's a big, important-looking building I
Well, and
guess.
we did see
Welcome
on the doors of the ruined
to-
city, like the depicted sort of carving was of this snake creature, like holding this scepter with like a cobra head, and he was standing on top of a ziggurat. So like we can presume, I will
Ziggurat
presume
seems like a
that
good
Yeah, I
place.
mean,
given that it's the only ziggurat. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
I thought
thank
that bit
you
back, yeah.
to DJ Apple for following. Welcome, my friend. To the adventure, you're a gentleman and a scholar, sir.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So the ball is in your court. So where you guys left off, you were looking over the city, and like we said before, you can see the ziggurat far off in the distance. It looks to be a couple miles off to the north. So you guys had come around the south end to the entrance, and then we're headed back toward the north, and that is what you see far in the distance, aside from many different ruined structures, walls that have fallen down. We also talked about last game your best guess at it looks like the city was destroyed, not just it didn't just crumble with age, but rather there was some sort of cataclysm that occurred here. And
We found,
so
we found a bunch of corpses, did we not? Like
Yes.
old skeletons. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, the desiccation of these corpses is such that they're sort of barely intact. They're hundreds of years old, and then they were not preserved or buried or anything like that. So the at least hundreds of years old was the ballpark. So go ahead and move yourselves. You can move your characters inside of the
Yeah.
ruins.
So I guess we step inside. I'm probably not going in the lead because I'm not. I'm a scholar. So I probably
Yeah, I will let the spinning tumor of death and the giant orc of death lead the charge.
That's what we call
Yeah,
it.
Gruak is
Okay.
familiar with death and ruin, so he doesn't mind moving forward.
Perfect.
I'll go. I mean, I'm probably gonna die soon anyway, so let's
Keep your spirits high, child.
This monk has meditated under the philosophy of nihilism for most of her life.
Oh man.
We must be careful
Yeah.
in these ruins. There might be more monkeys around.
I think Crag is still kind of like wiped from having like channeled all of his magic into cracking this door apart, so he's just kind of there, like munching on one of these, like I think it was a freeze-dried pomegranate.
Yep,
Because he doesn't quite trust Gruak's food to be sterile. So yeah, he's just kind of like munching and drinking. He's like, sure, whatever they said.
Yeah, Gruak, we'll say Gruak's walking forward with like quite a lot of, it's not reckless, but he's walking like fully standing tall. He's not really trying to walk quietly.
Yeah, I'm
so he's just kind
I'm very much kind of creeping through a bit more.
Yeah.
Picking my way through the rubble. And for some reason Twitchless is being really slow today, but thank you to Kvela Khan, I Am Sam, and DM Leviathan. Shout out to my boy DM Leviathan. Thank you guys. You guys are gentlemen and scholars, so hopefully, in fact, the thing will come through in a minute, but you guys are awesome, and also DM Leviathan, what a guy. So, what a legend.
He's great.
What an open legend. Am I right? Am I right, Brad?
Oh.
Oh.
Is it as bad as... But the question is it as bad as Hot Sclusies? I don't think it is.
Nope, not at all.
so,
All right, so Brian, can we see these sort of walls here to the left and the right? Are they fairly intact? Like, can I see over them at 6'6"? Are they crumbled that low, or are they just deteriorating but still like full-sized walls?
Yeah, so it depends on where you are, but the general gist is that you can pretty much see everywhere. There are, of course, to the perimeter, these 30-foot walls are not crumbled, the ones that actually enclose the entire city. But the inner walls, which you're talking about now, they may be tall enough to block your vision at certain points, but it's very easy to just take a few steps and see. There's so many cracks and points of deterioration that you can see pretty well from where you are, from your current position to the wall, the very large walls on the outside. But for the sake of simplicity, just to be clear about this, we're not saying that the map is to scale. This is more representation because we have
No
a
worries.
couple miles. So essentially, this is what you see, like sort of over this few miles, and a lot of repetition of different buildings and that sort of thing.
Cool.
So
As we're
But
as
off in the
we're walking in.
distance-
Sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine.
Yeah, so I think, if I recall correctly, as a racial ability, orcs can smell fairly well. So Gruak's going to sort of step in, and as we're sort of walking, he won't stop to do this, but as we're making our way into the ruins, he's just going to be taking big, like sort of grunty, kind of mucus-sounding inhalations through his nose, and he's going to see if he can sort of sense any creatures around via his smell. And I don't know if there's a role associated with that ability or if it's just kind of a general sensory impression, but yeah, he wants to know what he smells as he walks through the ruins.
Sounds good. So the
Other than himself, I guess.
yeah, the default ability requires that you do sort of stop and fully concentrate to do it, but certainly you can make a perception check to just continue to walk along.
I guess we like hold up the party as Gruak sniffing. Wait, he's doing something. He's exhibiting strange behaviour, and I'm making
A
notes of what he's
soft like
doing.
flump as Crag just kind of sits down. It's like, oh, thank God.
All right,
Okay.
I'll roll perception here.
And you can get so add advantage for your ability. Advantage 1.
Nice.
Okay. So my perception as a base ability, I'll just sort of articulate this out for chat. My perception as a base ability is just a 0, so there would be no added dice to it. So, but with advantage, I'll add a d4. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
So I'll add a d4.
Did we
And
want to
then the
briefly mention
exclamations.
exploding dice again for
Yeah.
those new who haven't checked this out before? Because
So the way that the way it works is in Open Legend. In other systems, sometimes it's common to see specialization or skill in something reflected as a bonus, like you roll a die and then you add a bonus. In Open Legend, that bonus is instead represented by an increase in the dice in your dice pool. And we actually have there is 0 numerical bonus. You never just roll and then add a flat, +2 or 5 or whatever. Instead, you have dice that are associated with your attributes. In this case, perception is the attribute. What is your attribute score, Mitch?
Yeah, so my attribute and perception is 0, so it normally wouldn't have a bonus, but with the advantage, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, that's the one problem, is that when you have advantage, you have to be using attribute dice because you don't get advantage on the d20. So actually, we found a small glitch. We'll have to figure out a way to represent advantage.
Sure.
But rolling a d20. So it normally applies to the other dice. So let's just roll d4, and then you can just roll 2d4 instead, just to move things along. But we'll have to figure out an alternate plan. So essentially, he would normally roll a d4 if he had an attribute of 1. And then with advantage 1, he rolls 2d4 in addition to a d20, and he keeps the highest one. So that is the exploding dice and advantage mechanic. Exploding dice being anytime you roll maximum, you re-roll and add the new total, and you can keep doing that.
Cool. So Brian, can you just walk me through once again, just because I lost my sheet from last week, just the macro with the exclamation points, just for that exploding dice.
So it's d20, 2 exclamation points, and then plus, and then 2d4 k1 for keep the highest one, and then exclamation points after that as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Got
So
a couple explosions in there.
couple explosions.
yeah. Yep. He's got the d4 exploded and rolled a 3 on the follow-up. So with a
See that
20.
grin.
What's that?
Just looking at Finbar. Hot explosions.
Hot explosies.
Hot explosives.
I was restraining myself from saying anything.
Oh.
I was being good.
I
and you
unleashed him.
just-
All right, so
Well,
Gruak,
You got permanent
Yes.
disadvantage. That comment.
It's all good, man. Got double I got double advantage to throw icicles and things.
Oh, all right. Let's see if we can't level things out. All right. So with a 20, you are able to spot relatively far off in the distance. So you guys have been walking for, a mile and a half or something like that, and the ziggurat is sort of looming ahead as you do so. It also becomes clear that there is a sort of chasm before you get to the sort of base of the hill where the ziggurat sits atop it. There's a large chasm, and appears to be some sort of a rope bridge. Not so sure about how sturdy that bridge is after all this time. But you may have to plan another approach route if you don't take the bridge. But that said, you smell something that's nearer to you as you guys get closer, which is you see out of this one pile of rubble, in a sort of strange, sort of surreal way, you actually see a tree that has begun to sort of sprout up. And that tree, it has a strange, it's got these very large sort of pods or something like that is like maybe a fruit or some sort of a thing that it's flowering, though they're not flowers. And this is something that you smell when you're trying to smell for the presence of living, anything alive or something like that. And this tree actually catches your attention, which is confusing to you as well.
Yeah, Gruak's gonna like beeline it. If the rest of the party is kind of like tacking along with where he's walking, the minute he picks up that smell, he's gonna start like just trying to make a straight line towards it, not even like the easiest route following the roads. He's just gonna like climb over the rocks and then like just try and walk as directly straight so he doesn't lose the scent.
Zane is like, what is it? What do you smell? No, I'm like,
What is it, boy? What do you smell? Did we follow down the well?
Yeah, I'm like, what is it, Gruak?
Tree, strange tree.
You smell a tree. Fascinating.
All right.
Take us to
so-
this tree.
Yeah, he's clambering over, not like trying to get there super fast, but he's just like doesn't want to lose the smell. I guess it's weird that it's a tree in the first place, because like something blooming or living in this sort of desecrated or dead ruin is strange in itself. But I imagine it also smells like a tree I've never smelled before. Like it's like a weird smell
Sorry,
even
I've
for a
never
tree.
smelled before.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is that you have, keep in mind that your sense of smell is especially geared towards being able to sense the scent of living
things, yeah.
animal life. And so in that sense, this is extra unusual because normally there are lots of other, there's lots of other vegetation. I mean, yeah, it's kind of desolate, but there are certainly other trees and stuff like that. And so the idea that it smells or sort of
I'm smelling like pheromones or something, like some kind of weird, like a mammalian something.
Exactly.
Weird.
All right. So
Interesting
move yourself
flora.
down the board here. Well, or I'll just do it for you. Keep this a little simple.
Gotcha.
Fuck you, Zane.
I'm making notes.
Leaving you behind.
All right. So rearrange yourselves as you wish to be in terms of like marching order there. And this right here, you guys can see, right?
Yeah.
It's the tree.
Mm.
I think Crag is very much like a few steps behind, still like just kind of catching his breath. Also, in no particular, it's like, oh god, Gruak smelled something weird. I feel this is not the first time Gruak has smelled something weird, and we've gone on a bit of a strange goose chase. So
Very
I'm
true.
not exactly in any rush.
I guess like as we get closer and it becomes
Yeah, I'm
like
studying
stronger
this.
and stronger, and Gruok's like more aware that it's this weird like animal tree. He's like, I guess he'll say like animal tree, like beast tree, tree beast.
Tree beasts. I see. I want to kind of examine this tree. Have I ever seen anything like this, or would I have read about this at all?
You can roll a let's see, a learning check for that if you have the learning attribute, or otherwise just a d20.
Learning is fun. Yeah, I do. I have 2 in learning. So I'm gonna do this for 10.
10. Okay. Unfortunately, you know, you can think of many different strange magical trees, but whatever the appearance of this one is, you've not seen anything quite. You can't recall anything quite like it. At the same time, so you guys approach, you're a little bit closer, and you can sort of see more clearly what you're looking at, what you're dealing with here. And it has these strange pods that they would be like fruit, except that the pods are like 2 feet from like top to bottom, and they have a strange sort of almost leathery texture,
Leathery
like
vibe.
yeah, it's think like an avocado that's 2
Does
feet
it,
from end to end, or something like
does
that.
it look like you could smash it? Could you break it?
With a tumor.
How high is it? Sorry. Oh, answer my question.
Yeah, so they're about 10. It's about 10 feet up, so it's kind of like, or maybe a little bit more than that. You know, pretty easy to sort of jump and touch one if that's what you're trying to say, but it's not low enough for you to reach from your present position.
So
Anything weird about the tree itself? Like the pods are strange, but is like the bark, like the leaves, the branches, is that all fairly standard, or is there weirdness there too?
The whole thing it seems unusual. It also it's strange looking the way it sort of connects to the branch. It seems unusual. And everybody roll a perception check. So that'll be everyone in the group right now.
I was gonna go for the severance plan. Just
How's it going to go to? Perception. I have 0 in that, so I'm a straight D20. God damn.
14.
17, the perfect number. The boys.
Echo fixed.
14.
25. What? Get worried when the GM rolls.
And rolls well.
Now you know what it feels
And
like.
rolls
Will.
good.
So we got everybody there? I think so. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So so what happens is so who's kind of who's sort of taking point here? Who's the one closest or first inspecting? Who would that be?
Gruok could probably be walking right up to it once he caught the smell, even though he didn't perceive shit when he walked up to it.
Probably
Right,
right
that's cool.
after you, honestly. Kind of
Yeah. So the thing is, Gruak and Zane were the two who kind of wandered up and started like
prodding.
examining it more closely, whereas me and Maggie are kind of hanging back, going, "Well, that's fucking weird."
It's a tree growing these weird scrotums. Yeah, not cool, man.
Scrotum tree.
I was gonna try and eat. I got
excellent.
intimidated.
All right.
Oh, good.
So, so on that note, so what happens is, so you guys are all, the two of you are sort of standing back, and the other two are up close, sort of like trying to look closer, or maybe figure out a way up to sort of shimmy up the trunk of the tree, maybe inspect a little bit closer. And essentially, what happens is, as the two that are closest are trying to like figure out a way to inspect real up close and sort of make their way up the trunk, the two that are hanging back, you guys see all of a sudden these fruit pods or whatever they are, they begin to move, and as they move, they sort of unfold and reveal that these are not actually any kind of fruit at all, but rather they're wings that sort of unfurl. It's like the wings were sort of a cocoon, and they unfurl, and at the same time, you see that
like this.
your worst nightmare as monkey bats,
Oh,
much
no.
like the ones that you
What the fuck?
encountered before, drop down on the two who are closest here. Oh, oh, excellent. And
Excellent.
Oh my Jeebus.
Oh, my lord.
17. So does
The perfect
17
number.
hit? So we'll just go left to right since I forgot to decide first. We'll say the Zane is the 30 and Gruak is the 17. Gruak, does 17 hit your evasion?
Wait, wait, Greg, you're on the left, right, and I'm on the right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Hang on.
Just
here.
goes, ah!
Where?
17 or 30 both hit my evasion. So
17 beats my evasion. Yep.
Okay, so so what happens is these monkeys they sort of unfurl, they sort of pounce down on you, and as they do, their tails entwine around your neck, and they sort of fly back up and they create a sort of noose-like effect. And so the two of you who are behind, these guys, they basically get choked, and you see like them sort of struggle for a moment, and then they sort of like stop kicking or whatever, as you're not sure if they're dead, but they're definitely choking. So you guys are
my God.
incapacitated,
Shit.
affected by the incapacitated bane.
Oh no, but thank you so much to Strater, who donates £5, and he says, to see who gets wild magic roll, a d6, 1 equals Sydney, 2 equals Will, 3 equals Mitch, 4 equals Finbar, Brian on a 5 and 6. So I'll roll a d6, and I'll have a d10,000 of wild magic. I rolled a 4, so it's Finbar, you get a wild magic
Aye, aye,
surge, my friend. Thank you so much, Knight Strater, for
So yeah,
that wonderful donation, my friend.
I will roll that up. So we're being hung, and not in a fun way.
No, in a fun
No,
way.
not.
Not getting
not
hung in a
fun
good
way.
way.
So- Of America, right here. We've got a hanging tree now.
Oh god.
It's getting dark, dudes.
wow,
What
wow.
was your roll, Finbar?
I had 2,342.
2, 3, 4, 2. So if you guys don't know, you can affect our games with donations, changing things. Oh, brilliant! This is a nice one for you, Finbar.
Oh dear.
So Brian, I'll hand this one over to you to do whatever you want with it. But it reads: Caster's teeth have braces on them.
What? What?
So you now have braces on your teeth suddenly. Somehow, through some kind of wild magic surge, this happens.
Next time I use magic, like ice for some reason leaks from my gums. But and it's really quite painful and uncomfortable for a little while. But then afterwards, after it melts, I have really straight teeth. It's wonderful.
It doesn't happen overnight, Vimbo. You can have those for at least 2 years. You can have regular
Yeah.
orthodontic
Oh no, I didn't say it was
appointments.
just this time I use magic. Every time I use magic, I get ice jaw.
I'll tell you what. We'll add to this because the power level of this unconsciousness that's currently currently plagued our heroes. Because it's Finn is not one of the ones affected, right? Yeah. Okay.
I am safe. I am.
Yes.
I did
Alright,
have
good.
like use and abuse magical powers to a capacity I've never done
Yeah,
so
you are
before a little while
exhausted.
back.
Yeah, he
So-
rolled like something like a 45 on one of his ice checks. So like that
Yeah,
was like his
I've
first.
strained my magical muscles a bit since I got to this island.
Okay. Well, we will keep in mind the braces and see if we can't make sure that they have meaning later in the story. So, with that said, everybody roll initiative, which is just an agility check, and we will see what happens.
Alright then. My agility is 3, so I'm going to be rolling plus a d8. So 25 from Zane. Not bad.
Same.
22.
13.
Not bad.
All right.
I'm not in a good position to help here, I'm
We're
afraid.
incapacitated, but at least we're going quick.
Exactly. No long turns. All right. Let's see. So we've got a pair of monkey bats, one on each of the heroes here, and let's
Suddenly
see.
monkey bats.
Yep. Gotta watch out for them. All right, so let's see. Zane is on a 25, and we got.
Brace yourself. Lol.
Where is? Am I missing Grok? Where's he at? Oh, there's.
Alright, so whilst you're sorting out, we are of course using Open Legend, which you can find the rules for free. If you want to kind of read along, play along with us, you can do on their website, openlegendrpg.com. If you haven't got your hands on this copy of Out of the Abyss for D&D, we are giving this away on stream at the moment. Exclamation point giveaway, and go grab yourselves a copy. If you haven't followed in general, maybe you'd like to. Have a think about that. Have a little think about it and then do it. Because we're here 5 nights a week playing D&D.
Begin thinking about it, then stop thinking about it. Just do it.
Just do it! And the words of Shia LaBeouf. If you want hot exclusives,
Hot exclusive.
you know where to get them.
Spread those hot exclusives all over the internet.
How's it going, Lee?
So in Open Legend, the way surprised works is anyone who is not surprised just automatically acts after anyone who is. So the monkey bats will go first, and then Zane is first after them. So 2 of them went. The other one will sort of leap down and try to claw at our friend. Let's see here. Well, Zane is currently hanging, and let's see.
Currently hanging. I'm just hanging.
Let's do Gruok actually, I think. And
Yeah, because even though Gruik's hanging, like, he's hanging much closer to the ground because he's so much taller. So there's probably
Yeah, I'm like.
like, if the monkey jumps to the ground, yeah.
so that monkey misses in terms of attacking Gruok, and it is Zane's go.
Alright, so on my turn, can I attempt to de-hang myself, to unhang myself?
Yes. So the way the incapacitated
Get unhung.
Bane works is so in Open Legend there are things like incapacitated. There's also dominated, for example, where
Hello.
you can control someone else. So
Sounds
in
good.
that case, what happens is you, since you're not in control of yourself, you automatically get to roll a resist roll every round to see if you can sort of claw your way back into things here. So yes, roll d20. It does not explode. All you need to do is roll 10 or better, and the Bane is ended.
Okay, and to go ahead, no, the word I wasn't looking for was free. The word I was looking for was unhung, or dehung. 17, the perfect number. Second time.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So you are hanging, 10 feet up in the air. You sort of come to, or it's like you sort of black out, but then you sort of come back for just a moment, and you can take a, let's see. Oh, right. So that happens like at the end, right? So you're always
Okay.
affected at least one
Got it,
round.
until the end of
So
the turn.
next round you're conscious.
Alright,
Yep.
so this turn I can't move, but I can
Yeah, you-
perform an
no.
action. No?
Nope.
I can't do anything,
So-
I'm just fucked.
Yeah, you're taken out for this round, and
Gotcha. I'm
then
just
next round
struggling
you'll
with
be back in it.
Cool.
You'll be
I
back
get
in
off
the
my-
game.
I'll probably like get my dagger or something, like cut off a noose which is around my throat or something.
Tail?
Yeah, it was
Sounds
a noose,
good.
I'm being hung. So yeah,
So Sid,
Cool. All right.
cut
So
off. Cut out.
let me see here.
And then I plop down.
Cool.
just Sydney, your go.
Okay. Okay. So, Mitch is still like in the tree, or
Still being choked.
Ruak is still in the tree. All right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
But you see that I can't remember character names here. Who's it? Zane? Yeah, Zane regains consciousness.
Okay, I want to try and climb up the tree and like push the monkey off of the tree to
Okay.
the ground.
So that would be knockdown Bane. So all you need to do is hit its evasion score to do that. So roll. The tree is. We're not going to say that the tree is a major obstacle. So we don't need to roll dice when it's not necessary. You can climb the tree. Maybe if it was like you barely had, if you had barely enough movement, maybe it would be harder, but there's plenty of leeway in that regard. So go ahead and roll just a agility versus the monkey's evasion to see if you can knock it down.
Are you trying to push the monkey that's got me, Sid?
Yeah.
Awesome.
The
It's a
flying tumor
10.
strikes again.
Defying gravity.
So I
Oh
think
God.
10 is not gonna do
I don't
it
think
now.
so.
Nope.
10
So
is
unfortunately,
not
you try, but the things, the tail of the thing is just really tightly wound around this, or no, its claw, it's hanging on with its claws, right? Yeah, and its tail is the noose. But anyway, its claws are real tight and very tough, and you try to sort of slash at them with your dagger, but to no effect. And next up is, let's see, Mitch, your go. Crag.
Yes, so just a flat D10, or sorry, D20, and if I get 10 or better,
Okay.
I will be able to come out of it next round. Oh, fuck.
Damn.
Brutal. All right.
Oh man.
Now it is Crag's go.
Oh, sorry, Crag's go. Right. So, sorry, my brain was elsewhere. I was plotting and scheming. So these so we've got this map. 8. So I'm gonna try something a little fancy because I have been reading
Alright.
the rules, and I believe due to I can attempt some area attacks. I believe.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a moment. So one thing that I forgot to mention for the benefit of everybody who's watching on the stream, the last time we started with the simplest encounter or the simplest combat, and we said between that encounter and this one, they have access to their feats now, which they did not before. So I think that you probably have a feat related to this. Is that right?
I have feats related to making me greater ice magic, and as such, I can kind of push my ice magic to do more fancy things. So what I would like to do is I would like to hit the 1x4 area that is these two monkeys are encompassing. So essentially, I think like Crag will sort of like drop his arms down low and then flick up, and we see little drops of water. I think leave his like fingertips. They arc over, and in midair they all turn to icicles and rain down across that like 20-foot line in front of my buddies.
So it's normally a square area, but you can do the same thing with a projectile attack, which would be hitting multiple targets as long as they're within 5 of each other. So the same thing happens.
Okay, cool. All right, so I have 2 sets of attack specialization, ice, which I believe gives me double advantage.
Yep. And
So
then it would be disadvantage 2.
So it negates to splat roll.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and.
Fantastic. So this is why we do things, so we can do bullshit OP stuff. And ice powers. 23.
Ooh, that looks
23.
good.
Okay. And what are you? Is this a damaging attack or is this a bane attack?
I think this is just because both of them are free now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Were they?
No,
oh wait, no,
I'm
he's
still
not.
stuck.
I am.
I'm still stuck.
Kill this one.
Yeah, I think it might be just me trying to like cut them both down because they're little monkeys. I don't think they're particularly like tough. I'm just gonna kind of spear them to death because that's the fastest way to free Gruak if they're just dead.
Exactly. Makes perfect
He's not
sense. So what happens is they each have 5 hit points and an evasion score of 14. So on a 19 or better, you killed one of them. So you've targeted 2 and done 9 points of damage. So you kill them both.
What's up?
So
Saving my buddies.
exactly.
So yeah, just this like hail of icicles like drops down, and we just see them speared to the ground. It's like, alright.
All right. So the other one, so you've seen them exhibit cowardly behavior before, as the one kind of hightailed it after you killed all of his friends before. However, What's strange is this one's sort of like this other one here. This guy. He sort of turns and begins to retreat, begins to fly away. It's their turn, and what is surprising to you is that it didn't seem like it's in character for them to behave that way, like I said. However, at the same time that it happens, there's this strange sort of like you feel like a sort of earthquake kind of a feel or something like that, and it feels like the rocks beneath your feet begin to shift and move and that sort of thing. And what happens is unfolding itself before you from the rubble, you see that the rocks that this tree were on, and again the tree sort of begins to rise up out of the ground, the tree itself, and then it just sort of falls off and and rubble just sort of begins to shower down around, and out of the rubble emerges what appears to be a 20-foot tall huge creature. It has red glowing eyes, and they're right in its forehead. You see a magical gem, and that gem itself is also glowing as it begins to sort of, emerge from the rubble. What happens is the two of you who were previously hung by the monkeys, you are actually on the shoulders of this creature as it emerges, because it literally is so large that it's just like your bodies are resting on top of this living rubble as it sort of unfurls itself.
Does the tree just sort of like fall over, or is it like on this thing's head, or?
The tree just like falls off the back of it, and it just sort of like, the tree is small by comparison to the actual the being.
Damn.
And so it is this creature's
Rubble monkey.
that is what this creature does for its turn, and the rest of you guys can go. So Zane is up. So you are everybody's conscious. You may two of you are on top of the.
Got one round, guys. We need
Shoot.
to alpha strike this guy.
Yeah, no shit.
Drop your biggest spells.
Okay. So.
Let's see that alpha strike.
Yeah, I
I'd love
also
to.
want to check my new featureroos. Okay, nothing there is going to help. I can heal you guys now. I've got Phantasm and Hallucination, and I'm hoping that this thing is just a Phantasm, but I'm going to... And these guys are still alive, these little monkey things as well. Can I...
No, so what
No.
happens, they all fly off, like they're just,
Oh,
just
slide.
a huge predator just emerges and they all just fly off
so
in different
that's
directions.
scared
Slide,
okay.
yeah.
So we should be scared as well. Okay, try and grab onto one of them to fly away. No, take me with you!
You can try. They're not that far away.
No, I will stay for a bit too. I'll stay for a little while. So, I do have a longbow. I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
But I could try and hit the thing in the kind of forehead stone with the longbow, or I could try and. Okay,
Come on,
what I'm gonna
Legolas,
do is I'm
get
gonna
it
like.
esophagus.
Yeah, what I'm thinking of doing is like making it think that it's blinded, so giving it a hallucination, where it thinks like it's surrounded by, in fact, like it's being attacked by hundreds of these monkey things.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of make it kind of flail and attack, basically.
Okay. Hundreds of, so you are limited in terms of your, so like
Yeah.
your area is I think you can do like 5 squares, I think, of area of effect with a 5 in illusion. So hundreds, not necessarily, but yeah,
Okay.
a large number.
Yeah, okay. So let's cast Illusion at a 3, so I'm going to roll d8, which is a 25.
Nice. That's it. What is that? 3 explosions? Excellent.
Yeah, and it's 7 on the base 20.
Nice.
Hello.
8, 8, 7. All right. So with a 25, you see the creature is temporarily distracted as it begins to sort of like bat at itself and sort of like try to shake like spiders off of its arms that aren't really there, of course. And it is temporarily distracted. However, while it is effective, you get the feeling that it's more of a temporary thing, right? So you're not sure how long that will keep it busy.
Right.
So Sydney, you're up. Mainly because it's not, it's not humanoid, right? So it's not necessarily doesn't have a normal intelligence. So Sydney, your go.
Okay. God.
I guess you were in the tree, so you're probably like behind this thing, maybe.
Yeah.
If the tree like fell off as this thing crawled into the ground. you would
Yeah,
come.
imagine I'm like stuck under branches, but I'm coming.
I didn't realize that there was someone I had overlooked. If you were in the tree, I forgot about that. What happened was we didn't move your character, so that confused me. So let me do 2 things here. Let's get rid of this guy, and then from the GM layer, we will bring out our friend. And
Chew its knees off.
so like I said, since your character was not in the spot that you really were in, I got confused. But it's entirely your choice. As this tree topples, you could either jump onto the creature, the golem, if you want to, or you can be on the ground. Either way is fine. Your
Oh
decision.
hell yeah! Okay, I want to jump on it and I want to stab it in the eye.
Okay, go for it.
What do I roll?
So you're already on it. Like I said, I wasn't sure if you wanted to be off of it or on it. So you just move and you're already in the right position to attack it. So you just roll agility versus its.
Yeah. So I remember I had like the weird curved toes. So we'll say I used my like awkward curved toes to stab it in the eye. That's what I'm doing.
Trying to
30.
pry
In the face.
Wow.
Kick it in the face with my
Kick its
toes.
eyes.
Oh, wow.
Kick its eyes.
I'm doing.
All
I
right.
did it.
Kick it in the eye.
30.
Parkour, people. Parkour.
So what happens is, let's see. Where is my?
I think this guy might be misunderstood. He just wants to hug.
Okay, what happens is you kick. He's just misunderstood. That's right. So you sort of come around and standing on top of it, you sort of punt it in the face. I guess to say that you're a tough farmer would be an understatement, as you, with your bare feet, kick some golem in the face. But you manage to wedge your toes such that the gem doesn't fully loosen, but you actually feel it give way a little bit as you kick the thing, you think that another really solid hit like that might be able to take care of it. But again, that was exceptionally successful. So Mitch, your go.
All right. Then.
All right, so this thing is mostly made of stone, from what I can tell. So Gruak's not convinced any of his sort of pestilent magic is going to do much of anything. But I guess if he's also on the shoulders of this creature and he sees Maggie Ruth like clawing at this thing's stone, does the gemstone look similar to the stone that the Wapuni had around his neck?
That is a good question. It is, in fact, this is a red gem, whereas that gem was pink, so not quite the same.
Suspicious.
Yeah, so not
Gem-based
really,
cultures.
not really feeling that he knows much that he can do like with his magic, but being a strong dude, Gruak is gonna sort of like try and clamber over to where this gem is, and just like grab it with both hands and just try and rip this gem out of this thing's forehead.
Okay, so just roll a might roll.
You will have Mike.
Come on, Mitchell.
Oh,
Wow.
two downs.
Fuck.
Excellent.
Well memed.
Such skills.
I am just rocking it tonight.
Incredible.
All right.
Lucky there are no crit fails in this game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, funny you should mention that.
No. I'm sorry, Mitch.
You haven't read the latest update, have you, Finbar? You haven't seen
You haven't
patch
read- you haven't
0.537, have you?
It's a hot exclusive. You should have seen it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's only on Encounter Roleplay, the hot exclusive. And the critical miss. They've got you again.
Alright, hold on,
so-
Brian. Let me bend over here. Just let's.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So, if you
Hello.
guys, I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time, which is drop something in our personal chat here. If you guys can share that in the, someone can throw that in the Twitch channel. That is the latest rule. So I'm glad that somebody mentioned this, because I think there are some out-of-date rules on the website. I'm 90% there in terms of updating the website, but this Google Doc has the latest version.
Nice.
So that being said, but this was in the original, which is Every Roll Matters. That's the title of the blog for Open Legend, because we don't want to roll dice all the time. Especially if you're rolling large amounts of dice that have, advantage and disadvantage and all that stuff. We don't want to bog down the game too much. So, but when a roll does happen and a failure takes place, and it's not just a crit fail, it doesn't anything less than the target for success. Either you can succeed with a twist, or you can fail, but something interesting changes about the story. At least that's the rule of Every Roll Matters in Open Legends. So, in this case, if you go to the
The story changes. We now have one less piece.
What a twist.
Like without you.
So there's a list of a couple things that can happen when a failure happens. So we think that people should improvise and storytell, but we give a couple examples, and three of them are: the player takes damage because they put themselves in some sort of risky situation, or you're forcibly moved 10 feet, or you incur some sort of a low-level bane, like a power level 1 or 2 bane, or something like demoralized, like you become demoralized because you
So bad.
hit your enemy or something like that. So bad. So in this case,
Shame. Yeah.
what happens is you are in the advantageous position of it's actually difficult just to get up on the creature to be there, and so when you go to reach, you lose your footing off of some of the rocks that are all loose, and as you lose your footing, you're sort of reaching for the gem, and then you actually just sort of nose dive right off the top of the thing. You don't take damage, but you're moved forcefully, and more importantly, you're no longer 20 feet up in the air in terms of your current location. Although actually, you do take damage from falling, so
Yeah, that makes sense.
you take 3 damage from falling.
Ooh, all right, could have been worse.
Yep.
Yes, and also
So-
quick thank yous to Odin Schilder and MX11 for following. Guys, a gentleman scholar as well. Welcome.
Excellent. So
Brian is the
Finbar, you're-
GM tonight, by the way.
So,
Christmas.
sorry, did he manage to leverage the gem out? Is that
he
fell?
tried
Kind of-
to, and he
Okay.
he slipped as he was reaching for it and fell. So he never actually made any progress on that.
Well, Gruak is already on the ground, so yeah, I think Crag kind of like rotates that, and I think like the wiggle room is just enough that he like is going to try and sort of slowly drift water vapor inside, and then just kind of freeze it so he can explode the thing out of its socket,
Okay. Yeah.
which I guess is technically the forced move bane in a very
Sure.
localized area. So how do I add this advantage in? Because I am now not using anything too fancy. I'm just using ice magic.
So it's what is your attribute 5?
Yes. I'm currently running 26.
So it would be 4d6 K2 for keep the highest 2.
4d6 K2.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Go. 18.
Okay. So as you try to do this, it doesn't prevent you from doing what you're attempting to do, but it does seem like your goal of sort of trying to force its movement doesn't work quite the way you want because it is sort of kind of glued in place. But you do. Let's see. Where did my
my suggestion is that technically Maggie is holding on to this gem, so if I do pop it out, that might not go great for her.
Also, thank you to Mad Trax for following. Welcome, my friend. To the adventure, you are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Greetings over there in Germany. And they're all coming through now. Excellent.
Yeah. So that's exactly what happens. Is Maggie's partially sort of like got her foot sort of inside and sort of wiggling her toes to try to wiggle it loose, and her toes sort of get like frozen.
I'm sorry.
To the gem. So we will count that.
Getting cold feet there.
Oh my god!
On the right side, Sid. Sorry, Maggie. You can't possibly fall off now because unless like your weight like pulls a really gross way. You're good. You're good. Is what I'm saying. You're
First
fine.
you freeze my toes and then you call me fat.
Well, your
So
abnormal growth probably weighs a lot. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow,
no.
the body
Here to
image
have-
shame.
You appear to have subhuman anatomy.
Oh,
Coming from the
man,
fucking
I
dwarf.
don't envy you in the post-mortem here. So
the things Craig says. He's a nice guy, I swear.
So you have the equivalent of the demoralized Bane, which would just be disadvantage 1 on your next attack. The creature goes, and seeing Maggie sort of on top of him and at risk for doing something that he really doesn't want to happen here. He is going to take a swipe at her. Wait, how in the world? You guys are lucky. All right.
Not all of us. Not all of us.
Craig's fine. Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my
The
god.
creature sort of attempts to swat and sort of knock her off, and she deftly, being a foot monk or something, she sort of deftly sidesteps.
That's what I call her.
Zane is up.
Am I on top of this creature, or am I kind of where I am on the map here?
You should be on top of the creature.
Okay, so I'll
yes, because you were the one that was hung, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so in that case, I've got a dagger. I'm just gonna stab down into the gem to kind of loosen it if I can, kind of prise it out with a dagger.
Okay.
Don't stab her in the feet.
I'm very careful. Well, I mean, they are frozen, so like, even if I do, then it's probably just cutting away ice. I just break off her foot,
Just
like.
chip off her toes.
Oh god.
Those aren't used for anything.
What about their toes? They don't need them.
It's like the only weapon I have.
Well, we're running the risk here, so dagger. So I just use my might for this for a dagger.
So dagger is not a might weapon, so you have to use your agility.
Oh, even better. So that's actually good. All right, so I'm gonna use my agility for a 14 to try and prise this thing off.
This gem, you're not sure how Maggie managed to make it look so easy with that face punt.
So
But
says all of us, yeah.
So jealous. Wish I had a tumor like that.
oh, man. But no, unfortunately, your dagger sort of nearly goes into the sort of the crack that you're aiming for to sort of pop it out, and you miss. Let's see.
Curses.
What's that?
No,
Yeah,
I'm just
Sydney, you're up.
just being a nerd.
Okay. So my toes are like wedged under it and frozen.
That's hard.
Well,
Right.
it's just
Right.
disadvantage. So it's like you have frostbite. They're not actually. It's not preventing you from using your feet per se. If that makes sense.
The thing of like when it's really hard to like open and close your hand when it's really cold.
Back.
You've got
Well,
that for your feet.
Could I just like try to yank it out like, and if I did that, if it's under the gem, would the gem come out?
Just a little
So
quarry.
essentially, yeah, absolutely. You can try to do the exact same thing. It's just that because of the sort of frostbite effect, you have disadvantage 1 on your roll.
Okay.
Believe
so-
in you, Maggie.
So that would
You
Believe
you
in
can
the
do
future.
this before I try to do ice magic again and actually give you frostbite.
so that'd be 3d6 KL2.
Okay. What?
3d6 KL2 for keep lowest 2.
How's it going, Pat? We are fighting
So-
a giant rock creature golem thing.
Very specific.
Thank you. I try.
So-
I try for Pat, you know.
Yeah.
How does
Forward
Brian do it?
slash.
So you can, for everybody, you can use the up arrow on your keyboard to reuse the last roll, and then just sort of modify tiny bits that you need to, if that helps for anyone.
Okay, what am I typing?
So I would type up to reuse your last roll, but then just change the instead of 2d6, change it to 3d6 KL2.
Reason. And do I take off the exclamation or leave that?
No, you keep the exclamation points.
Cool. This an 11.
Okay.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, due to that frostbite, you're not quite feeling on as much as you were a moment ago, and as such, you actually tragically take 5 points of damage because of your fragility and susceptibility to bludgeoning damage of your feet, which are frozen, and so you take 5 damage, and then it is Mitch's go.
Trying to pull your
Yeah.
feet out and you just get smacked against like a stone face.
So, yeah,
So
Greg,
actually, let
Okay,
me
go
Stone
re-
face.
sorry, let me retcon one thing there real quick. For those of you who do not need to move, you can take a focus action, and as long as you're not, so there are minor actions like sustaining a boon, for example, or like if you wanted to scan the area while you're fighting, that's a minor action. If you forego all those and your movement and just do a normal action, you can gain advantage 1 on it. So you guys probably want to do that. So in the case of Maggie, that would have been at a 12, but it still has the same effect. So sorry, go ahead.
Come on, everyone, focus.
yeah, Gruex, like, there's 2 of his adventuring companions who are on this thing's head, and they're like frantically trying to attack this gem. They're failing miserably at doing so. Crag is like firing ice at them, which is kind of precarious, and it's having a negative effect on those up there. So he doesn't really want to also pitch in on this pull the crystal out of the forehead business, because like he's on the ground, he doesn't have any ranged attacks, and he feels like he's just going to get in the way because it's already a bit cluttered.
Sure.
So I guess he's going to try and do some kind of like an intimidation to like draw this creature's attention. So
Okay.
he's going to, I'm going to like sort of clamber up on this little sort of half wall here, if that makes sense, just to get myself as high as possible. If
Yep.
this thing's sort of 20 feet up. And yeah, he's going to kind of like jump up and down like a half orc and be like, "Rah, rah," to try and get its attention and get it to swing or chase at it. As
Absolutely.
opposed to swapping at his friends. Because I don't know if my entropy magic is going to do anything to the stone creature.
So,
Flesh for me to rot, so.
so do you have, let's see, do you have a decent might score? Is that correct?
I do. I've got a
Okay,
3.
so believe it or not, I try to quantify these things where possible. This one actually is covered in the rules, so that's intimidated, which gives them a disadvantage to attack other targets. So if you have a might of 4, then you can do that. And so you would just roll to hit its resolve score.
Oh my god, these ones for me. Fuck.
Okay. You climb up on the thing, and we don't want to snowball the. I don't feel like snowballing the the bad string of luck too much. You fall back off the wall. You don't take any damage though, and you're sort of like you can't see exactly what's going on with the fight. as you sort of like violently sort of make this motion, "Rah!" and you lose your footing as you do so.
All right,
and,
sounds good.
so you kind of, in a very unimpressive way, just sort of fall off the back of the
Yeah,
wall.
it's like Mr. Bean-esque, because like I like half climb up and like while I'm starting to be like and just like fall backwards.
All right,
Gravity and nature good
Finbar.
Yeah, so Crag is going to take the time, very much not moving. He Gruak lands next to him, and you just see him like eyes closed, breathing like very soft. And I think as he's like breathing, like you can see that even though we're in like tropical jungle, like the condensation ice clouds starting to form in front of his mouth, and you see like the blue veins moving up his neck, and he's gonna try the same thing again. He's got ice in there already now, so he just needs to explode that. Maggie's toes may be a casualty of this effect, but that is a price Crag is willing to pay. So I'm getting an extra advantage, right? So I'm rolling 5d6 keeping 2.
Yep. So what's your default? You have
2d6.
Yeah. Yeah. So it would be 5d6 keep 2. Yep.
Fantastic. Come
That is
on.
fabulous.
Power of being good at role-playing games. Don't fail me now.
Correct.
At least you dodged those 3 ones.
I hope you lose your toes. I hope that's what happened.
After you.
Oh
my god.
Yes. So you see, so Gruak, you see as you sort of glance back at him as he's sort of deeply engaged and sort of focused as he's doing this, and like his eyes are like almost bulging out of his head, right, as he's like focused so intently. He launches this blast of ice, and you just see a trickle of blood come out of his nose as you take 5 damage from attempting to like manifest this power, but unfortunately,
As the blue like blood vessels start to creep up, and it's like blue blood starts flowing out of his nose, and he collapses to one knee. It's like, oh, maybe overreached.
not quite that 45 that you were looking for. So the creature goes, and Maggie's the only one who's done anything to him, so he will again attack Maggie, and he misses, unfortunately. So Zane, your go.
Alright then.
Punch
He just continues to swat at his head, and actually he would have had disadvantage to that roll, in fact, because of the Gruak's attempt did not succeed. Okay, so Zane, you're up.
I go in once again to deplug the gem from his eye. Unplug. That's the word. I want to just pop it out. I want to pop a gem. Fuck.
Gem.
I
Oh
should've focused
no, you
then.
guys.
I didn't think about it.
You do have this distinct impression after the sort of repeated failed attempts here that this creature is perhaps really, really tough.
Perhaps. I'm not
as-
sure. I haven't finished my theory yet, but
As you
fairly sure.
you will let's see, do we we'll say the same for you as you sort of reach in there to grab this gem. The creature's like moving as this is happening, and you sort of get your fingers around the gem and at just the wrong moment the shift causes the area where the gem is lodged to sort of slightly crush your fingers as your fingers are pinched in as you're trying to reach and pull out the gem. So you take 5 damage as well. And
2 PCs are literally stuck in this thing's forehead.
It's got a
well, he's not
massive
technically
forehead.
stuck, so he gets his hand out, but yeah.
So you could rip his hand off. Yeah, he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Sydney, your go. Let's see that.
But where? Okay. So it just crushed his fingers, but aren't my toes there?
Hello.
Well, on the other side, it's very large. Yeah. So
The gem wiggles one way, and one of you can get free as it pushes onto the other one of you, and vice versa.
Yeah, basically.
It's distinctly uncomfortable for all involved.
now you no longer suffer a disadvantage as your foot has had a moment to thaw here. So
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll try to kick it again then. and see how that goes. Wait, wrong. Hold up. Give me a moment. Give me a second.
We'll give you 2 seconds and no longer.
I'm not talking to you.
Well, alright then.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
Oh,
See, that's what
no.
happens.
all right. So you're like, you have this you just give it all you've got. You have this heave. Actually, you can make that a focus action. Why don't you roll just a d6 by itself? See if that helps the situation. That would be 3d6 keep 2. So just add a d6. Just R d6 2 exclamation.
Exclamation point. Because
Yeah.
it can also explode.
Explode
What?
on you.
So roll, just type /R and then d6 2 exclamation points.
Did you?
Yep, that.
Gotcha.
Except
Oh.
without the roll in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Myth has
Okay.
rigged the RNG, yeah.
God damn it!
Looks like it.
Oh, you guys.
No.
It goes up by 1.
So it's looking very grim, heroes. At this point, you sort of, your foot has been frozen by your own ally, and
Yeah.
you just sort of, you're almost tired and like sort of putting in just your leg. This is like you feel like you don't have much more that you can give as you just sort of, and what happens is because you're frustrated, you sort of like give it this last heave, and unfortunately, with the one foot that you have to balance on while kicking with the other, again, rocks slip out from under you, and this time you tumble
Rocks before you
to the
die.
ground. And let's see, you take 9 points of damage from
Oh
falling
no,
20
he said
feet.
trying to sound sorry.
Oh,
Oh, what a shame. Oh, oh no. Oh, this is sad. Oh.
So Sydney, as you fall,
What?
and let me see.
What?
Yeah, this is a approximation in terms of the map, right? So the scale is not correct. It's actually much further than this. But off in the distance back here, if you can outrun the creature, you think to yourself, maybe I can make it. Back in this area is the rope bridge that leads to the chasm that I spoke of at the beginning. And that rope bridge is looking better and better by the moment. So
It's looking
Crag, you're up.
stronger and stronger the more we look at it. Ah, we can make that.
Yeah.
So Finbar's up.
Okay.
Take the gem, damn it! Get the gem.
Yeah. So I have just a brief question because this might be a suggestion for Gruak later. But what like is the surface we're fighting on made of? Like, is it a stone floor, or is there like
This is-
grass and mud and stuff like that?
It's either. So there's both. So whichever one you prefer is fine.
Okay. Yeah. So I think, yeah, we see so Crag like wipes some of this like blue blood off his nose and like smears it onto. I think he pulls out his crossbow and smears the blood onto the arrowhead. He'll look at Gruak and he'll just say, rot the ground of that thing's feet. Let's lock it down. And I'm going to try and use as an energy attack.
Okay.
The crossbow is some nice fluff, but yeah, basically shoot a crossbow bolt at this thing, the gem on this thing's head, and I'm gonna turn just a little bolt into a giant fucking icicle to just try and smash it because I've lost patience with subtle removal. But yeah, so I will have spent my like move. I'm not gonna adjust or anything to focus that up.
Okay.
So,
see.
come on, 24.
24,
Nice.
more like it.
Excellent. And so just so let's see, evasion 22. So what happens is you send this bolt and it lodges right in this narrow crevice where it's sort of been loosened out from the bolt hits, ice sort of expands and sort of you see the gem, it nearly comes out. It's like hanging on by a thread, and the creature takes a knee as it's not out of commission, but it's very close. And next is his
I think it's
go.
close.
We see like the eye, like the light in its eyes like flicker,
Yeah.
and it kind of like staggers a bit.
Yep, exactly.
I think
that-
did we
Go ahead.
pass over Gruak? I think I was between the Sydney and Finn, just because I want to try and down this before it gets its turn, because I know for sure that I went before it does.
Yeah. I thought that's weird. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I tried to do my absurd intimidation and I just fell off a wall. And then we had the cycle of rounds, and now that there's only one of my friends climbing on this thing's face, and I've just seen like Craig successfully like shoot and actually hit this gemstone, Gruak thinks it's like less dangerous. There's less of a risk of friendly fire here, like to deal with the stone. So he's going to disregard Craig's suggestion. He doesn't seem to understand how rotting works. You can't rot soil in the same way, so he doesn't think it's going to work. But more importantly, he's just going to pick up a boulder, because he's a strong dude, from this wall that he just fell off of. A, because he's mad at the wall, and B, because he's mad at this golem. And he is going to take the focus, and he's just going to like throw this boulder, so like shot put sized kind of stone on his shoulder, and try and just ding this this gemstone.
Nice boulder.
I like that boulder.
So taking the focus, I'll get one advantage on this might roll, so it'll be 2d10.
We are just
I just-
4 retweets away from a viewer decision, guys. If you want to throw more madness at us, what you got to do is go ahead and retweet that wonderful tweet.
Hamster is right. Rock on rock action.
It's getting hot.
I just assume.
It's getting hard.
You just assume what?
I just assume you can turn any kind of ground into grossness in general. It's just like your passion and skill in life.
It's a fair assessment. So you shot put this rock and what?
Against Halforks.
You shot put this rock, and unfortunately, as has been said before, this thing is just ancient and powerful. It sort of manages to turn its head, and you sort of hit it on the forehead, but not in the gem. You were close, but not quite there. And so then it is the creature's turn.
I mean, it was
he
still
will-
a success for Gruak, because he got to throw the rock from the wall that he was mad at, and the rock like splinters, and so there's a degree of satisfaction.
That's absolutely true. I totally agree with that.
It's the thing of when we had getting in, when it was like you were pushing the door. It's like you helped.
Exactly.
Totally.
So he will. This creature will move and take any riders along with him as he.
Take us to
Oh, actually, no. He's huge, so actually that's actually within his reach because of how large he is. So he will. You see him sort of focus intently on Crag, who nearly knocked the gem out of his head, and you see him put 2 hands together in a hammer fist as he brings it down right through the wall that's in front of Crag, and 24 versus your toughness.
Yeah. I don't even need to look. I know none of my numbers are higher than 24. I guess my toughness is 13.
Okay, so you take 11. You're still up. So,
Yes, I am still alive. I believe that puts me at 8.
okay. All right. Zane, you're up.
So, I've got to go again. Whilst this thing's like wobbling around. Try. It's the only thing that I'm really good at, really. I'm no point illusioning it anymore. Because it's almost popped out. One more chance. I can focus, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to focus, so that gives me advantage.
Yep.
So I roll d20 plus d8 k1?
Plus 2d8 k1.
K1, okay. And it's the exclamation points after the k1.
Yep.
Cool.
After k1.
Sure. So 14.
Oh, you let's see, where are you at here? You lose your balance, and you don't fall off, but you slide back sort of further down its shoulder, which ends up meaning that you can't focus if you try to do the same, because you would have to step up as well as attack its forehead right there. But that is it for your go. Sydney, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna try and run across the bridge.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Save
what?
every
You're gonna,
man
like-
for themselves.
Okay. Do it.
Didn't you fall? And now he's punched in. Can I just run up his arms and kick him in the face?
Yeah.
Kick him in the face.
Yeah, he's good point. He's 10 foot now because of sort of like taking a knee. So instead of 20 foot, he's 10 foot up. So you can easily get up there. Yes, if that's your question. So Sydney, that is no problem. You will. The only problem with it is that well, normally you might take an opportunity attack. However, since he's
Wow.
focused in the other direction and you're behind him, and he's so big, he doesn't see you. It would be too difficult for such a huge creature to turn around like that. Not in a quick way anyway. So you do not take an opportunity attack. You're off the board in terms of, like I said, this is just not to scale this area, but you think that you'll reach the bridge in probably 3 more turns. So at a full clip as you are currently running. So Mitch, your go.
Seeing that his stone didn't do much, and he's still not even convinced his magic is going to do anything, and all of his sort of adventuring party members are like furiously trying to attack this gemstone, and it's just not working.
Hey, he has sprouted a giant unicorn horn of ice. I'm doing something.
I mean, he's still capable of swatting at you, which he just did quite aggressively. You took a ton of damage, so Gruak's gonna like grab you by the shoulders and like prop you back to your feet, and he's just gonna point at Maggie Ruth, who's just run off to the bridge, and say, "Bridge!" and he's gonna take off as well. So Gruak is gonna try and run past this creature. Likely taking an attack of opportunity, I would say, because I'm facing it or he's facing me.
Yeah, because it's so big. Now you could be
So
one.
big.
You could be further behind him. Actually, oh no, right. So you're already starting off. Yep. So you will take an opportunity attack. All right. So that opportunity attack is. Oh.
Hello. Oh, rather, goodbye.
So that's against your toughness. I think you're still up, but maybe not.
Yeah, my toughness is higher than my evasion, so I take 9 damage, 9 damage, so I'm still up.
9.
9. All right.
So we'll say like I try to like run past it, and it just like whacks me like in the back, and I kind of like I manage to like stay on my feet barely. Maybe I land on my knees, but it sort of hits me in the direction I was going.
Yeah, exactly. Mitch, you're up.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not Mitch. I meant to say Finbar.
So, having been told to run, Crag is going to completely ignore that because he's pissed off.
Come on, you can do it.
Crag is gonna pulls himself up, levels his gaze at the big icicle he's already launched this thing, and he just screams at it, and tries to kind of basically will it to explode essentially, and take this thing down.
When you scream with your mouth open, does your jaw fill with ice and lock in an open position?
It sounds about right. Headgear is acquired, made of
You now
ice.
cannot close your mouth.
Right.
It's gonna be
one
terrible
second.
hanging out with me with all these flies flying around if you can't close your mouth. It's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah. Tasty.
Right, 1 second. I
Very
accidentally,
nutritious. Sure. Once
okay,
you figure out maths, remind you guys, check out Open Legend if you haven't already. Go on that website there, download his rules, maybe run a session yourself. Do join this. Press that button, Finbar. Tap it.
I believe.
And if you have. Oh!
That's what's up!
So as the party is finally, their morale has finally been crippled by this creature's just indomitable, toughness or whatever, Finbar, you see him scream as he reaches for the gem. And actually, I'm sorry, you should go for it.
Yeah,
Finbar.
so I
What
think
happens?
Greg kind of lurches up, throws his hands towards this thing, towards the big icicle, and just like roars. And we see like the blue blood like blushes through his entire face, and this icicle explodes outwards, spikes like jumping out of it at all sorts of angles. I imagine Zane has to like dodge one as it goes very near him, and yeah, the bit lodged inside this gem pops off, and like takes I think a chunk of stone out with it as it crumbles, and then yeah, the gem falls to the ground.
Yeah. Excellent. So and the gem just sort of just explodes out, right? As beautiful. So you see the creature, the gem just pops out, and at the same time the lights just go dark.
Can I grab the gem as it like pops out?
Sure. Yes, you can grab the gem. It's in midair as the creature, this huge massive rock is hurtling towards Crag. He sort of jumps up and catches the gem without being crushed by the avalanche of rocks.
Nice.
And with that, we are off initiative. What is everyone doing?
All right. So I immediately kind of grab this gem which I have clutched to my chest, and I begin to study it without paying any attention to the others or like the crumbling masonry around me. So it says like a big red gem.
Yep, it's a large red gem. It's like the size of a fist. You figure that this thing's got to be worth thousands of gold pieces, probably.
It goes straight into satchel.
We'll say that Gruak, like, as he got hit on the back, as he was like trying to move past to head for the bridge, he got sort of smacked, was dropped to his knees, and then as he's standing up, the creature gets knocked down and sort of collapses, and the ground all shakes, and then he like falls back on his ass again. So Gruak is just having trouble staying on his feet today. But he'll sort of look over and now see that the creature is dead, and he'll look to see the state of his friends, particularly Crag. Crag, you took some hefty damage.
Yeah, so I think Crag very much like he does that. And like the big triumphant grin, and then the kind of sway and collapses down onto his knees. I'm on 8 of 24 HP.
Ooh, okay, so yeah, Gruak will head over to you, Crag, and like Gruak isn't doing so hot himself. Like you can tell like from his breathing that there's kind of like a weird bubbliness to it. Maybe got some broken ribs from when he got like whacked like straight in the back by this stone hand. But Gruak's gonna sort of ignore himself for now, and he's gonna try and heal his friend Crag.
I'm gonna try and do the same to Maggie as well.
Excellent.
So nice.
So I'm curious if the rules are wrong on this. So one thing that used to happen is when you roll a heal check, when you use the heal boon, you would just roll your attribute dice plus d20. There was a problem where if you take boon focus, it allows you to automatically succeed instead of having to roll to invoke a boon, which doesn't work well when the total number of hit points is from the roll. So it works like other boons now, where you just roll to invoke and then you do, and it follows the same scale as attribute dice. So like if you have a 2 in creation, then you would heal d6 hit points, but first you roll to invoke it. So just as always, attribute roll first, and then we will go from there.
Okay, so I'm rolling a plus d6 on my presence to heal Maggie for an 11.
Okay, so the roll. So for presence, that is unfortunately a level 1 power level 1 boon is 12. So unfortunately not sufficient. Gruak, so that's good for power level 2. So you can roll. What's it called? D4, D6. So you roll D6, and that's the total healed. That explodes just like all other dice. So exclamation points. All right.
Okay, so I healed 5 points. So we'll say as I approach Crag. Crag, what's like your most prominent wounds from when you got hit?
Well, I got kind of smacked. I wasn't actually under the fist, because otherwise I would be very dead. But I managed to jump to the side. I guess like maybe my it hit my foot, so like so it took a crap ton of damage. So like I think the lower part of my leg is like
just crushed,
like broken a bit. So that like pops back into place and something I can walk on, I would assume. Is that?
So Gruak will like sort of put his hands like hovering around your ankle, but not actually touching you, and you'll notice that. As he's sort of like muttering his spell words, because he's using his creation magic to heal, we'll say that like the grime on his fingernails and all the filth and dirt on his hands sort of like fades away, and his hands look very clean while he's like healing, as opposed to light. It's just like he looks cleaner, and like the flies stay away from his hands. But otherwise, there's no brightness or anything, and he'll sort of hold that there, hovering for a bit, and sort of lock your ankle back into place and like seal up some of the.
Cool.
So that you can walk on it.
So one thing just to make sure this is clear, because this is different from what's normal, what's typical for other games. In Open Legend, one of the things that we try to avoid is the concept of like resource management. So that includes the idea of you can cast X number of spells per day, right? So we're not like, your hit points are not this limited resource that are going to sort of slowly dwindle and then never come back. Obviously you can heal in your case, but what if your group did not have a healer? So the way hit points work is it's an abstraction. Like it does not necessarily have to indicate a lethal wound. So I don't have any problem with what was just said. I just want to make sure that you know that it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because if you take 10 minutes and take a breather, you heal any non-lethal damage. And lethal damage is what happens when the 20 on a d20 explodes. So the follow-up 20 and any others, if there are, that damage takes like days to heal. But outside of that, with 10 minutes, you guys will fully heal, just so you know.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, so we can think of it as like Gruak just sees that Crag is in excruciating pain with his foot, so he's wanting to just make it more amenable for that 10 minutes to sort of roll over. So
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and it totally doesn't change the flavor there. It's fine. It's just that if his like hip was it was out of joint, and the roll failed, then it's like he's not crippled or whatever here. So
yeah, cool.
Alright, so we
Cool,
take 10
okay.
minutes to chill, I guess.
all right.
Let's
So you guys.
take a break,
yes,
I think. That was quite the task. Everyone alright?
Gruak will look to you and go, "Where is Stone?"
Yes. Big stone creature. Take a sip from my water skin.
he'll poke you in the forehead with his now dirtied hand again, and
Yeah.
he'll say, "Redstone."
Yeah, I put my hand on your forehead too, and I close my eyes and I'm like, I see you. Full on Avatar.
Gruak gets out his ponytail and
We link. We touch. We touch tips.
yeah. How big are you, Zane?
I'm 7 feet. I'm dragon blood.
Oh, he's 7 feet. Wow.
17
Yeah,
inches, depending what kind of length you are.
Gruak is gonna kind of look around suspiciously, and he's gonna walk past you and go and see if the creature that just died, if the red stone fell amongst the rubble. So he's gonna be digging through the boulders and stuff.
You don't find the stone in the rubble, and you are perplexed by that.
I wonder if it despawned.
Yeah.
I whip it out after a while, and
I think because so Crag wrestling with this headgear he's acquired, we'll kind of see Gruak walking off, and he conjures a small icicle blade, just walks up and pokes it into the satchel that Zane is wearing, because I figure if anyone saw what happened, it was Crag as he brought the thing down.
Yeah,
So he just kind of pokes it and goes, "Ugh!"
what is wrong with you,
Yeah,
man?
everybody else was facing the other direction, but you saw him leap epically and grab it out of midair.
Wrist
And they're like,
like
"It's gone."
limb in the hail of icicles.
Yeah, no, I get out and I say, with this, perhaps we can bargain our way to a boat to get off this island.
Oh. Ah!
You really should keep those on you now.
Yeah, I think so.
You can take them off when you sleep.
Are these orthodontic braces, or is this a whole full head brace? Or
I think
something?
they grow when he uses magic, so he can kind of maintain them to the point that it makes it a little weird to talk. But yeah, it very much is it slowly freezes the lower half of his face in rigid piano key teeth. Quite uncomfortable.
Gruak's
One's white,
gonna
one's
walk
black.
over when you pulled out the stone, and he's just gonna look at you with a frown, Zane, and just poke at the stone and be like, "Red stone." And then he's gonna start
That is-
walking slowly towards the bridge.
That is correct.
I want to go.
correct.
Hang on. I want to go up to Crag and put my arm around him It's
Well.
like so, and be like, that was some impressive stuff you did there.
Trying to freeze off your toes. Excellent work.
Shh.
Greg kind of looks and like, thank you, Maggie. I thought you want to. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Thanks, Maggie. Thought you weren't a fan of my style.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna like lean in really close, and I'm gonna step on his toes like really hard, and I want to be like, don't ever freeze anything of mine again. But I'm gonna whisper it so no one else can hear it, and walk away.
Nice. Do you have deception to? Well, that's okay. Nobody else
Yeah,
hears.
I think yeah, that's very much like a yeah. Craig's just kind of like,
Yeah.
bloody. Last time I do nice things for these people. And yeah,
Crunch.
That man
Wanders
is
off,
most
kind of.
strange.
trying to massage some warmth into his jaw. It's really rather uncomfortable. But yeah.
I'm just like studying your brace, like what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Fascinating.
Oh, he's got a jaw. That's ridiculous. All right. So you guys see. So scanning the area, you don't find anything else of interest other than lots of ruins and really this is a very large area. Remember we said about 2 miles from the original gate to the bridge itself to the chasm. So very large area here. A cursory glance after resting up for a bit does not reveal anything. You can search more or sort of continue on. It's up to you guys.
I think we best press onwards, lest any more of these creatures appear.
All right.
Gruak's like already like ready to head off to the bridge. Will sort of like nod, and he'll say, "Scepter of kings."
Yes, that's
still,
right.
Still working his way around polysyllabics.
We're going to find the Scepter of Kings, hopefully within this ziggurat.
Yep, and you guys can see the ziggurat on the far side of the chasm. So
So yeah.
Crag just kind of goes, it's like, big, ugly, magical guardians? Check. I think we're on the right track, gentlemen.
Agreed. So like a quick catch up if you guys are just joining, or if you not following, whatever. We're off to go into the ziggurat to find the Scepter of Kings, to bargain with the monkey people to get us off this godforsaken island. Pretty much. Or the
Pretty
lizard
much.
people, depending on your preference. If you're new, we're playing Open Legend, open source role-playing game. You can go ahead and find the rules. We are here 5 nights a week playing D&D, RPGs, other things like that. So if you haven't followed, do hit that follow button and join us. If you haven't retweeted, we are just 4 tweets away from a viewer decision, which means you guys get to throw some crazy shit at us. So get that going. So yeah, I guess to try and make our way across this terrible-looking bridge.
Yeah, before anybody gets on the bridge, what's it? Is it made of like organic material other than the wood? Like is the rope or whatever sort of looks to be deteriorating? Is it like kind of like either a hemp or some kind of
so the rope.
synthetic?
Yeah, the rope looks like it's made of something natural, not synthetic, hemp of some sort or something like that. There are wooden slats that some of them appear to be rotting a bit. It seems to have held up fairly well in the sense that there are not like large areas or sort of long stretches where multiple boards are missing. But maybe that's just because they're waiting for a friendly adventurer to step on them for that to happen.
It's the it's Indiana Jones 2 bridge is what we're looking at.
Yep. So Ken Gruak, and maybe he's tried this before, maybe he hasn't, as the sort of counterpoint to his entropy magic, which is much stronger than his creation magic, he does have like a little bit of creation to be able to sort of heal or restore, sort of do the opposite of sucking the life out of things, or causing them to rot. He's going to just sort of try his hand at sort of reinvigorating or strengthening either the sort of ropes that are securing this bridge, or the planks that are being held to make the bridge. So he's going to sort of try it both and see if using his creation magic can just sort of make this a little less perilous.
Kalima,
Excellent.
Kalima. And thanks so much to V Frame for following. Welcome, my friend. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Good to see you.
What happens if the person's a lady and not a gentleman? I
It's
wonder.
a gentlewoman or a gentle
Yeah.
folk, depending if it's not obvious.
Gender non-specific, gentle people of all sorts.
Gentle folk
gentle
and
people.
scholars. Certainly a scholar, either way.
Yeah.
Let's see that roll. Is that? I'm waiting for you there.
Nope,
Mitch.
haven't rolled yet. I am doing so right meow. I was just sort of asking if I could do it at all, and if
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
sounds good to me.
There you go.
1d6 and explode that.
Gentle being.
Oh my God, Jesus!
That's Mitch luck for you.
Well, it's not combat, so it doesn't necessarily mean you like take damage.
No, you're just on like this terrible chasm into the darkness below.
So what happens is, essentially
just
what
fall.
happens.
Forever.
You just
yeah.
fall, it's fine.
You call on the powers of nature, the non-chaotic, non-entropic powers of nature, and the vegetation that's sort of bordering around the bridge, on either side, in fact, it begins to sort of grow over as an attempt to support it. And what happens is, let me clarify one thing about this, because I think with the combat this may not be clear. The idea of every roll matters does not mean that we need to be afraid of like rolling less than the target, because there's also success with a twist. So this is an example of success with a twist, which is that you summon up these vines, the vegetation from the edges of the chasm. They grow up and they do in fact reinforce the bridge in a way that seems like helpful. The only problem is some of these have thorns and stuff like that, so you create some areas that are actually a little bit more difficult to traverse because of it.
Okay.
But it does have the effect of reinforcing the bridge.
Yeah, so we'll say, because Gruak, the whole point is that he wanted to be some kind of a druid, and found out that he just wasn't that skilled or adept at healing magic or sort of natural sort of production, those types of things. So he focused on entropy instead. So the only form of sort of creation he can do, he sort of tries to conjure these vines and feed them or guide them through the bridge, is that he has trouble like suppressing the sort of, we'll say that they're even like poisonous in some capacity, poisonous thorns, just to add that element of like, he's really good at making things that are bad for you. And sort of cause problems. So there's sort of a toxin that he maybe regularly conjures. He regularly conjures this flower to use to make some kind of poison or something, and it's that flower by accident. He has trouble not having that flower pop up as he causes these vines to reinforce.
Perfect. And so the yellow areas, because that poisonous plant is there, you have to travel more slowly through those. So you have to use 10 feet of movement instead of 5 to move through those yellow squares.
I'm considering casting an illusion to make it look like I've fixed the bridge, like loads, and everyone just steps happily across.
Oh, dear.
Excellent.
But he's not that much.
What's a few points of damage from a poisonous plant next to falling off of a bridge into oblivion, right?
Exactly.
Falling forever. Yep.
Yeah.
So I say, is that safe, Gruak? Those plants look rather interesting.
He's just gonna like shake the bridge a little bit and say, "Stronger."
Yes. So would you like to test out the defenses, the reinforcements?
Yeah, Gruak will go first. He'll stride across.
Okay.
Okay. So
We sent the
Gruak,
heavy one first.
go ahead and move yourself and give me a perception roll as well.
Alrighty, I'll just move up to the first yellow block, the first sort of obstacle, and then make this perception here. My perception is nothing fancy, so just a d20.
Yep. Okay. So with a d20, so with a 14, you are able. Let's see. Give me 1 second. you spot with the 20. Here we go. You spot a
rope
below
golem.
you,
Oh no.
Oh
Oh,
no!
that's horrifying.
Oh, that's so nice.
below you, along the sort of what was impossible to notice before because it was along the inside of the chasm, sort of peeking out from this rock. You see these huge, and the sort of, they're not really mandibles. I guess just a leg, I guess, of the spider, but the front legs have these strange serrated bone-like protrusions as this creature begins to sort of like step out around the side, and it's crawling toward you. It was sort of hidden behind a rock there. What are you doing?
On that 14, do I recognize this creature as any that I've seen before?
You can roll a what kind of nature-y learning? Do you have learning or something?
Yeah, I've got learning. Yeah.
Okay, then that would be a learning roll with advantage since it's related to nature, and that's your specialty.
Okay.
Alright. I'm going for a quick burn.
Hey,
I'll be right back,
dudes.
guys.
Yeah.
You did KL instead of K, but it's 4, so that's fine. So it's 13 instead of
Cool.
12. So with a 13, you get the distinct feeling that whatever sort of strange dark magic, created these monkey bats or whatever they are. A similar kind of magic is at work as these protrusions along its legs do not look natural at all. But again, not Frankenstein, but rather sort of
Yep.
engineered.
But it is still more of a creature, I guess, like a flesh and blood creature than was the golem.
Yeah, it is. It's not. It doesn't look like it's a magical. It doesn't look like it's a non-animal. It is an animal.
Okay.
It is a
Cool.
creature.
Magically mutated as opposed to automated.
Perfect.
Exact.
Yeah, Gruak, no hesitation, is going to sort of extend his hands and sort of cry out, letting the party know. What's he going to say? What's a monosyllable? He'll just say bad because he can't say monster. Just bad. And he's doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger rapidly, and he'll blast
Go ahead.
with his entropic magic as best he can towards this creature.
Okay. So you can roll that. Are you trying to do a bane at all, or are you trying
So
to?
if you're okay with us having our
Damage.
feats,
Yep.
so I've got a feat that says Bane Focus. So when I make a damaging attack, if I do, normally you need to do 10 damage or more to be able to also invoke a Bane. With Bane Focus, the Bane that I'm choosing being Sickness, the one that just sort of makes them reel with sort of retching, gives them 2 disadvantages. With the
Yep.
Bane Focus, it will proc on a damage attack that only needs to do 5 damage. So instead of having to choose, the idea being I don't want Gruak to have to choose between trying to make them incapacitated and sick and start to rot and take damage. I want them to get sick when they take rotting damage. So
Perfect.
damage attack, but with the Bane Focus for sickness.
I love it. That's but when you figure out all the banes and all the attributes that can be linked to them, there's like a near infinite number of possibilities, which is one of the things I love about this. So 16, that is versus their what, toughness or yes?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
it's-
for entropy, against yeah.
Okay, you do 3 damage, so 2 shy of what it would be to trigger the bane. So the creature takes 3 damage, and that is that. Let me see. Where's I'm in the wrong layer or something. There we go. Okay. So you see,
Siren boy.
you see one of its rear legs sort of begins to wither up, and it sort of loses its balance as it sort of struggles to maintain a little bit. It's not dead by any means, but you definitely inconvenience it. With that, we will keep that order, and we'll just have everyone else roll. We'll keep, because it makes sense in the story for to start. So everybody else can roll for initiative.
That's,
It's an agility roll, I
agility.
believe.
Snap. Someone
Show me the money.
Doom.
26.
Sweet.
42. What the-
Whoa!
Oh,
You
I
fall
just-
forever.
I rolled a 5. Good now.
45. That is incredible.
That is-
And I just put 40 for Mitch's initiative because I figured, well, no one will roll higher than 40.
These are the worst rolls to like roll really high on. You want to roll like super high on when you're attacking the creature, not like, oh, I can roll.
Yeah.
No. Just be good and
Wasting
roll
your
both.
life.
So there is a threshold. One thing the game could probably use is like some guidance around, and we're working on a GM chapter where we'll cover this kind of stuff. I just kind of ad lib it, for now, but we'll help people out who are trying to run the game. Like thresholds that trigger like really exceptional things. So I would say at 42, we're gonna give you a free attack because that's absurdly high. Hopefully that doesn't turn into 240s on the attack rolls, but odds are against that. So so that's good. So we got Zane on a 5.
A mighty
And-
5. I'm busy looking at the gem.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
getting a sneak look. Wow.
All right.
There's always a
So-
bigger spider. There's always a bigger fish.
So the creature goes. The creature needs to roll. And let's see.
Picks up some dice with one of his 8 legs.
Just rolls them into the abyss.
I'm sorry, I need to roll. 24.
Quick clarification. This abyss, are we in fiction? It is very much just a big black chasm that goes.
It's not actually a black chasm, but yes, it has the same effect as a black chasm. As you can see, rocks and a not so deep river at the bottom, which makes you feel that if you were to fall, you would probably be impaled and obliterated by the rocks and the water at the bottom. It's a good 100 feet down.
Wonderful. That makes this a lot easier. Oh, I like.
So Sydney, your go.
Okay. Well. So, are they in a position where like you could grab them? Can I grab the
The
spider?
creature is no, it is below. It is not on the level. It's 15
Not even
feet
on
down
the
and then 15 feet over. So you can't reach it unless you climb down next to it. You could do a ranged attack to hit it, but in terms of getting into melee combat with it,
It hasn't done anything to us yet, right?
not
We've
yet.
already poked it, so.
It's like started climbing
hear it
towards
sort of-
us. Yeah.
You hear
Yeah,
it
when
hiss,
giant spider comes
entropy.
towards you, I tell
No
you
No one
myself.
magically engineers giant spiders for pets.
Yeah.
unless they're guardians.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna like start booking it across the bridge then.
All right, that's probably as good of a plan as any.
Yeah.
So
I'm-
10 feet to move through the yellow square. Keep that in mind. And you can move instead of doing your typical action, your normal action. So in that case, that would be 12. So it'd be
Her
60
bonus
feet,
attack
12
too.
squares.
Huh?
Huh?
She gets to move again. Because you, Sydney, you got a bonus attack for your
Oh,
absurd
yeah.
initiative.
So you can
only one?
attack and run. Yeah, you can run full out and move 12 squares, and also attack while doing it.
Or
Do you not-
just move 18 squares. And book it with the speed of the wind.
Your
Well,
weird
Well, I don't know what I have that I could like throw at it or do.
Uh,
Yeah, I guess if you're melee.
there's some defaults in
Who is
In the
typing so
character
loudly?
Me, but no one else can hear it, so deal with it. Lol.
okay.
You nearly make it to the other side of the bridge if you just spend your entire thing running.
Okay, I'm just gonna run.
Okay.
So like
Is that- so-
here as on my count.
I haven't counted out the squares, but you got a bunch that cost you extra. So
Yeah, I counted them. The yellow ones as 2. My count puts her here if she just runs like 18 squares worth of movement.
Cool.
do it.
I'm
Mm.
coming. I'm coming.
Excellent. And when you get to that point, right
Where
in
was
the,
Spiders.
it? Like
right
here?
in the middle,
Yes, I believe so.
right in the
Yeah.
middle, when you get to that point, you see two more of these friends.
Stay
Oh,
alive.
great.
Oh fuck. Okay, we all just need to run. Fuck.
Don't worry, I got this. The artillery will help here. So I believe it's me.
Yep.
26. Okay, so I'm going to use one of the specific banes. So the idea is I'm going to conjure a big pillar of ice underneath where the spider's abdomen is, and use the forced move bane to push it off the wall
Yes. Perfect.
and just drop it down to this chasm. So on a 19.
Okay, that is sufficient. So you do you manage to force it to move by sort of like exploding ice, like near the wall where it's sort of like right under its abdomen. You see the creature just sort of get blown right off from the wall, like dynamite goes off underneath of it, and it hurtles, turns into a tiny speck as it splats against the rocks below.
Yep. The artillery strikes again. So how many can I move with a move?
6, so 30 feet or 6.
1, 2, 3. I kind of run through Gruak's legs for 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I get through the yellow one and I'm here.
Okay.
Um,
All right. And you were targeting this one, right?
Guy. Yes. I assume I probably can't reach all the way to these guys.
So for attributes, the way it works is weapons have a range. So you look at the weapon for that. If you're using supernatural attribute, the range is 5. If you have a attribute between 1 and 3, it's a range of 10. Or
Okay.
yeah, sorry, 10 if it's between 4 and 6. And then 15 for 7 through 9. So yes, you probably cannot.
I will need to get another move in before I can hit these guys.
All
Hold
right.
on. We're a coming.
Excellent. Zane's up.
I am running. I run.
Yeah, Chad is saying this is very Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Running across the bridge, the spider just dropping into a speck.
Yeah. So I'm gonna spend. I can like sprint, right?
Yep. You can move 12
12
squares.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have to make a roll to come through the poison?
No, just
Right.
takes 2 squares
Yeah.
to be careful through it.
Okay, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Perfect.
Maths.
So yeah, you jump over the top of Crag, who's like rubbing his legs where he's been stung by Gruak's
Yeah, I
sticky
just
nettles.
let Bonnie help you. Just go over the top.
Yeah.
Don't bite me.
Do an over under. You go under Gruak and then over.
Oh,
Gruak.
yeah.
Nice.
Little
Nice.
the 1, 2.
All right. So Mitch, you're up.
Yeah, Craig is also going to run. I don't think he's going to double, so he's just going to make one sort of move's worth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He won't be able to quite get through this second difficult spot, but he will get into it. And that puts me within, let me check, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, well within 40. So he's within range because he has entropy 5. So I'm going to entropy blast once again. One of the spiders, we'll say the one on the right-hand side. Hoping to hit that Bane with the Bane focus, but we'll see because my rolls have been fucking abysmal tonight. 2d6. There we go. Oh,
All right.
1d20 plus 2d6.
Hey, 69 viewers.
Ooh, 27.
Oh, wow.
Does that do 5 damage or more?
Yes, it does.
All right.
So 27 is actually that's versus its toughness. That actually you just see the thing wither into a husk as you're just as you just see this cloud, this sort of surround the creature, and you just see it sort of shrivel up and it dies actually straight up as it
Okay.
falls off of.
And I finally contributed. We're good.
Exactly. All right. So next up is Sydney.
Okay, I'm gonna get off the bridge now. I'm just gonna go like here,
Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me.
and I'm gonna look at everybody else and just wave like,
See you guys.
Hi guys.
bye.
It's nice over here.
Craig, you're
love-
up.
I
Finbar.
love grass.
Okay.
Grass on your
so-
toes.
Wiggles toes.
Okay, so I run through and like power slide through the legs of my two compatriots and like throw my arms out, and I'm gonna try and like pull another ice pillar through this other spider and bounce him off the wall.
Perfect.
Oh!
Beautiful. You succeed
Damn.
as you manage to, and that was actually this combat was actually fun because it was non-trivial, but it's still the rolls made it so that it suddenly became not a drudge.
I was very much hoping that, because it's like, well, I mean, they might have all the HP in the world, but if this is a giant cavernous abyss, I don't need to succeed by much to
Exactly.
just kill them. Gone.
Yep. Beautiful. So you guys managed to thoroughly mop the floor with these spiders as you can sort of slow the pace as at least you don't think there anymore. But anyway, you all get
Excellent work.
across without. Yes.
Quick.
Yeah.
Good. Oh.
You have Crag kind of hobbling as he power slid through the like stinging nettles. It's like, oh my, Gruak, you need to. Oh!
I checked that the gem is safe. It's like the One Ring. Are you safe, my precious?
Precious. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whew,
Okay. So
ziggurat. Let's go in the ziggurat.
You guys, so looking up, you see that you're at the foothill of a large, sort of very, Aztec-inspired, huge pyramid-like structure. Also known as a ziggurat. There are these huge steps leading up, very wide. There's hundreds of steps between you and the entrance as you look, as you gaze upward. So, what are you guys doing?
Well, I suppose we best head on the inside to attempt to find the scepter.
Scepter of Kings.
Quite.
Gruak! That was 2 syllables, man. I'm proud of you.
It's learning. Fascinating.
Hey. Hey.
I'm making notes.
Gruak will look to Crag and sort of like in a very like stern sort of face, he'll say, "Be careful," as we like head inside.
Perfect. All right. So the structure seems to be formed into 3 levels. Each one is about 20 feet tall, and there are many blocks of stone that compose the overall structure. A long staircase leads up to the top, and there seems to be a small sort of almost like a building, a sort of more square-like portion at the top. Staircase is decorated and surrounded by dozens of statues. As you sort of come up the sides of it, you see that they're sort of looking inward at you as you go, or many different statues. You have short pygmy lizards, also known as the Wapuni, that you've already seen. Other strong humanoids that you've not seen before, and also, again, more of the same snake-like, half snake, half man creatures. They're from the waist down. They have snake bodies, similar to a naga or something like that. All of the statues share one notable trait, which is that they all have looks of what you would guess is a sort of terror or fear on their face, as you ominously step up the stairs, if that's what you're doing. I'm just.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
we go.
I'm ominous as hell. I might be like 2.5 feet tall, but yeah. I've killed a lot of things today, and I intend to kill some more.
Exactly. At the top, there's a large stone door, a single stone door. Engraved on it are more of the same pictograms like on the city wall. In these scenes, however, you see the serpentine staff being held before a tall mountain, and the mountain itself seems to be spewing forth smoke and fire. So the door is heavy, it's stuck as you sort of examine it. I'm not presuming that you're trying to open it, but it looks like it would be difficult to open, and it looks like time and age have sort of affected it.
So how big is this? How big is this stone sort of square structure on the top of the ziggurat? Like, if I wanted to just like walk around the perimeter, just to see if there's any other markings, anything else interesting, another entrance, or any other
Great
clues?
Yeah, great question. So the structure itself at the top seems to be it's maybe like 60 foot by 60 foot square at the top.
Yeah, that's like small and all. It's not super
Yep.
small, but
Correct.
reasonable
You think
enough
you
that
could- When I motion towards it.
Gruak check, and he'll start to like walk around, just to do like once around, just to make sure we get a 360 of this top piece of the ziggurat.
Okay. So go ahead and roll that.
Oh shit, yeah, no, Gareth told me ages ago that we hit 25 retweets and I just completely forgot. Thank you guys for 25 retweets. That means viewer decision. He's got to get to throw something into our game.
All right.
So Brian, do you
The
want
11th hour.
the 11th hour? Yeah, do you want a themeless one again? Last time we had what's inside. This time we could have I don't know,
What is
something about
a-
a statue or something like that.
So let's say that let's pick a how do I frame this? Give me a second to think here. I don't know if this is unfair for people to have been asked to study or to know about the rules, but it would be cool if somebody wanted to choose an effect that a foe might be able to invoke, and you can just do it as a story type thing, and I will translate it into these rules. What about that? How's
Sure.
that sound?
So like a special or like a magical effect.
Special
that an-
ability or
special
something.
ability
Yeah,
that
it could
an
be
enemy
magical or whatever.
Or otherwise. We're no longer in the Bridge Dakota. We're in the ziggurat. So, guys, throw in your suggestions for an ability that a monster or enemy could have, magical or otherwise. Throw it in. We only need 5 of these
Do-
because we're running low on time.
Bring
so-
the artillery a challenge.
Yes. Tomato polymorph. And then
And,
Scarstar
I
will
got
take
a
your
gr-
suggestions. Go ahead, Mitch.
Gruak got a 10 on his perception as he walked around to examine the perimeter of this capstone, or the top piece of the ziggurat.
Okay. So with a 10, you take a while to study, and you don't actually find anything from the outside that's notable. However, as you're sort of you take like maybe half an hour, because you keep thinking like you're about to find something, but you don't, and then after a little while you hear something like a kind of a clicking sound or something, but it sounds very, very far away, and that's the best that you can get in terms of a read on what's in here or something like that.
Sure.
The clicking is coming from inside.
Yep, it's coming from inside.
Nice.
Yeah, as Gruak sort of makes his way back around the perimeter, he'll sort of be very concerned, and he'll look to both Zane as well as Crag and say, like, gesturing to the stone, like the place that we're trying to get into, and he'll say, click noise, in.
I see.
Alrighty.
Sounds ominous.
Yep, the straw poll is in chat, guys. Go ahead and vote on your favorite one. The most popular one will be added into our game. Thank you for 25 retweets. We'll have another one if we can fit it in somehow. If we get to 25 retweets, no, 35 retweets rather, then we'll have another one. If you haven't followed already, do hit that follow button and join us. We have view decisions every 100 followers, so do hit that follow button and join tonight's adventure. So I said this clicking noise. Is it like a clock, or assuming we have clocks? Is it like a
mysterious
timepiece?
ticking noise?
Too quiet. Click in.
Like an insect or something.
Don't know.
Well, we're not going to find out by standing around out here. How about we blow this door down and have a look around?
Seemed to work last time.
I find.
Gruak will like get ready to push the door because again he still thinks he helped when you did your weird like ice thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, like I will begin kind of testing it, and seeing like if this one feels like if there's maybe I can find a weak point or anything like that. But yes, I shall kind of breathe, draw in the magic, and gonna absolutely wreck this thing.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Come on.
So yeah, I think this having acquired a little bit of confidence, this is going to be basically he just kind of breathes, like sketches again the like symbols, the blue symbols in his blood, and just hammers it. And as he does so, a giant ice pillar forms behind him, and hammers into the gate at the same time as his fist. For 31.
31. Beautiful. All right, I love it. So let's see. With a 31, you manage to, as you said, blow the thing right off the hinges if you want to.
Yeah, I think this is yeah. Craig's feeling a little more excited. He's ready for a fight. So this is full on like battering ram. Good
Excellent.
morning.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right, so you blow the hinges right off of the door, and there's a dank sort of like very
Dank.
Oh yes.
Kush-like smell.
Gruak's
So
all
this,
shit.
what's Greg doing?
Just all for that smell. Yeah. Just all over that dank.
It lights up.
Yeah.
Dank
perfect.
foliage.
So the smell just sort of wafts out and sort of like rolls over you guys. It smells like similar to like what you would expect from a mausoleum, as it's just very stale and stagnant, and it seems like this door has probably not been opened for hundreds of years, if your guess is correct. And as you open the door, let's go back to this. Since you... Hold on 1 second. Come on. There we go.
Hey, that's
Since-
fine.
Since no one inspected the door, the
Ooh,
No.
die.
Rocks
there's
fall. Cracked ice.
Yeah, rocks fall. You guessed it. That's you blow the door off of its hinges, and these rocks that seem like they're precariously set atop the thing. You're standing a little bit away, but there's still enough of a sort of like explosion where you get hit by a smallish boulder. 19 versus your evasion defense. How much damage does that do?
19 versus my evasion is 4.
So that 4 damage is actually lethal, as this is the kind of damage that you actually do sort of crush your legs slightly. And so as such, you need to heal over the course of a day or multiple days to heal that damage up. So you take 4 and can't be healed to full.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, yeah. So like, Craig stumbles backwards, like gets hit by something, like pushes it off, and like things like that. I was like, well, I believe I just took down a building. I think I'm doing well today. And as starts massaging the newly formed ice braces as he used more magic.
Oh man! All right, and let me move you guys. So you guys are in the ziggurat, and this is the door here. All right. So again, the smell of dust and death overcomes you as you peer into the shadowy chamber. Just within the doorway is a small foyer where the path is flanked by large alcoves, and that is the area kind of where you are here. It's actually sort of off the map, sorry, but we'll ignore that. So over here, this area is kind of like a foyer leading in, and as you guys come in there, you see in there more of the more of the same. It looks like this area was actually there's a sort of priestly motif, as you see like robes, and these things are all very, very old and decaying as you go to sort of inspect them. Rusted holy symbols, jarred components for arcane rituals like strange pickled eyes and whatever stuff like that. And deeper within, you can't see very well further in, as there's not much light. Well, there's no light, in fact, coming into the ziggurat. And you see there's a second room, and inside of that room, sort of like barely, you guys sort of pull out a torch, and in the glint of the torchlight, you spot something glinting off metal, and you see that there is a cloaked figure sitting atop a throne, sort of in the far end of the room that's deeper in, resting. I'm just moving us a little faster since we're at the end here. Actually, resting in the figure's arms is something that reflects rays of faint purple light, and lying at the floor at the foot of the throne are the skeletal remains of some unknown humanoid creature. So that said, this straw poll thing is a little weird. I don't want to cheat anybody, but we're also low on time. What's the thought there?
Next vote wins, guys. So whichever between the two, either Boomerang or Giant Stone Golem. Next one will win.
Giant Stone Golem.
Okay, it's Boomerang. An
Okay.
ability lets a villain steal other players' boons and combine them to use his or her own. Pretty cool.
Nice. Actually, that's great.
Buff
Okay, cool.
vacuum. Great. So yeah, we see a skeleton holding a fancy-looking scepter in a chair.
Yep, sitting on top of
Time
a.
to take that scepter.
Yeah, I kind of look towards Zane and Maggie and say, "Me and Gruk have been doing all the work to get us here. You two's turn. I ain't going near that for fear of booby traps."
I disagree. I'm holding the gem. If we lost it somehow to a trap, it would be most.
I mean, you could just let me hold it. I can just hold it for you.
Don't be silly.
Okay, well, go get the
Trust-
thing, come
trust the
back
dwarf
here,
with
might as
the
well put
gem.
all our eggs in one overly
So,
fragile basket.
Is the thing that's holding it like it's like a person? Like
So
It's like a
yeah,
skeleton.
so good question. So there are the skeletal remains of one figure, and then yes, another robed figure sits upon the throne, and it looks like there's two different figures. You can't see in the robe to identify whether that figure is alive or not. It's a little bit too far away, but it has not reacted to your presence. So that's as much as you know.
All we know is that it's a Bond villain because it's sitting there looking
Yeah.
at us when we.
can
Oh.
I use this the Fey innocence that I have and just like go up and ask if I can have it?
Nice.
Okay.
Do you mind if I
what's the
just-
ability say again? Remind me.
Okay, so Fey innocence says your Fey blood gives you a childlike quality that can melt even the coldest of hearts. Once per game
Does it have
session,
a
you can
heart?
leverage your Fey innocence to turn an enemy and cause them to take pity on you. They might choose to look the other way when you've done something illegal, forgive a debt you could never pay, or vouch in your favor before the authorities.
Classic Fata. She's always asking for pity.
Yeah. Yep.
She does have horrific illnesses.
It's true.
Boomer.
This is
Feels
basically
bad.
we're asking this man to give to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Just make her really happy.
So what happens? So what we'll say for this is as you sort of approach or sort of come a little bit closer. I'm assuming you're not coming too close. You don't want to be like within reach of whatever this figure is sitting atop the throne. And as you sort of you hope that your shining, bright and shining personality will sway the coldest of heart, which maybe this is, probably this is. And the figure sort of looks up, and you see a sort of snake-like forked tongue. Sort of, you see like out of the shadow of this deep hood, you can see it begin to sort of move, and it says, "My child, you should not have come. Save yourself," as he sort of like utters this ominous warning, and at the same
know what the man says.
at the same time that happens, you are not surprised, and this is a shame because we're at 7:30 and don't really have time for this, so I guess we just have to cut it short on a cliffhanger, which who knows when we'll finish. But what happens is, give me 1 second.
No worries.
Does he pull a Jafar and turn into a giant snake?
He did not pull a Jafar.
That
However,
should totally be what happened.
Oh my lord.
crawling down. So you guys sort of would need to have, in order to interact, because he's deeper in. You guys, unfortunately, very convenient for me, inconvenient for you. And this creature, where the doorway was, you see this 8-legged creature sort of like emerge from the shadows that were above where you didn't see, and climbing down the wall with these huge, you see its huge talons just grip right into the stone of the wall as it sort of slithers its way down the wall. And I guess you got to tell me what we're doing. We should end, I guess. We'll have
Do
to
you want
leave
to
it
go
on a
into
clip.
the kind of Q&A section?
Yep,
of the show?
sure.
Alright then, so we'll leave it on a cliffhanger. Will we live? Will we die? Who knows?
The party spins. Icicles begin to form around Crag. Gross death mist leaks from Gruak. I don't know whatever hell my magic looks like.
I've got an easel up. I'm painting the creature real quick. trying to get a little.
Like standing there
Hold
looking
very
like-
still.
Yeah.
I'm applying a filter.
Hey, get out of my light. Go.
And then, and then I guess like the final cool shot is as Maggie leaps over the top of us and the spinning as she goes to headbutt it and into the camera. And we go.
And
Yep.
scene.
End scene. All right.
That's
Awesome.
big TV.
Well, whilst we are finished playing the game, we're not finished with the stream. We've still got plenty of time for a Q&A section for you guys in chat to ask Brian and us any questions that you'd like to about the game, or about anything at all, really. So if you have any questions, do put them in chat. For instance, Son of Joxa asks, when using the craft beneficial or baleful item feat, should the crafter only be able to imbue items with bane or boon attributes they already possess? For instance, should a crafter be able to imbue a weapon with cold energy attribute if a crafter has only obtained banes or boons from the illusion domain?
Excellent. So great question. So the way that works, I thought it was specified in there, so we'll make sure to fix that if it's just an omission or something like that. But the idea is that the higher levels where these things have a sort of like their own, you're imbuing it with, I thought that you imbue it with an attribute, and so the attribute determines what it can do. So you might imbue it with might, or you might imbue it with agility. And if this is not what it says, this is probably what it should say. So anyway. But yeah, I think I think that's the idea, is that you imbue it with a certain attribute, and then that determines what it can do on its own. So like a trap would either be rocks that crush, and so that has a might score, which is versus toughness, or like a harpoon, or like an arrow trap or something that would have an agility score.
Gotcha.
So
This is okay.
also, before I forget, let's share the one thing. We're about to share the adventure module here, because I don't want people to have to wait to the end of the Q&A for that. I put that in our Skype chat, and this is, like, as I said before, this is edition 0. This is a 0 edition, as it's not actually totally complete, but most of the editing's done. I'm going to get it into a more formal PDF format. The one thing I want everybody to know is that what we did here, I wanted to cover like how the game plays. This is actually an amazing adventure module by Ish Stavos, who is my editor and co-writer. There's a ton of story flavor stuff in here, and it's actually a really fun sandbox adventure. I could easily imagine this taking like 4, 5, 6 sessions to play through, and we just did it in 2, so we didn't get to the end, and we didn't explore a lot of the more intricate plots, secrets, and stuff like that, unfortunately. So
it's a great intro.
Sorry,
great intro module to the game, and you get a good kind of overview, I think, of how the game runs from just those 2 sessions. Certainly a good kind of starter.
We showed off some cool things, like how the different attack stuff works, how you can kind of sharpen the bits you like about your character, for instance.
Yeah, definitely.
And also how you can go completely insane and gain the ability to use the Pokemon move Dig if you have strange toes.
Stiverus, aka Tyson, asks, Brian, I was looking at running an Open Legend game. One of my players wanted to make a character with 4 arms. Do you think it would be balanced for me to make an extra limb feat that can be only taken at level 1 for 2 points each? His solution was to take dual wielding twice for each pair of arms, even though he only wanted to have one pair that could carry weapons, while the other pair had a shield and a free hand to do actions like open doors. How would you help a player create a 4-armed character?
I think that what you suggested is exactly what I would do. I would use that as I would allow. Maybe what I would do is start with the 2-weapon feat, so that that's, and essentially at early levels, maybe the character's not as skilled or agile with using multiple limbs, so like they suffer a disadvantage, just like you do at the beginning of that feat chain when you're doing multiple weapons, and then they would eventually become they would eventually remove all disadvantage from making those multiple attacks. And maybe what I would do is I would just have that be half of the equation, and then the other half would be like a feat, like skill specialization. I forget if that's what it's called, but skill specialization allows you to get an advantage on non-combat rolls. So if they wanted to be really good at like picking pockets because they have multiple arms they can do it with, then skill specialization would make you so that when you roll an agility check that's not an attack roll, then you would be covering that side of the spectrum, and then the 2-weapon thing would cover the other side. I think that would be a great way to do it. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it's cool. Hounds of War asks, has Warhammer D&D started on Friday? Not yet. We're thinking of running a 12-hour game of Warhammer, fantasy role-playing game, all one session, in April, I believe. We're thinking of doing that. We've previously did an Arthurian one and a Star Wars game for 12 hours non-stop, which is a lot of fun, very tiring. And so we're gonna do one next month as well, because next month is our kind of birthday month as well. So we're doing a 24-hour stream and a 12-hour one. Pretty
Nice.
mad. Squire Ned asks, anyone to do a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night Open Legend game? It'd be my Legacy of 8 setting, I guess. Anyone in chat that wants to get involved, then go ahead. I know all of us are very, very busy doing streams at this point, with 5 nights a week of streaming, or potentially more. It's pretty tiring, but I have really enjoyed playing Open Legend. In fact, we should probably go around and and just kind of say a little bit about what we thought of the game, kind of honest, real opinions of what we think. So Mitch,
I could,
no, go
I
ahead.
can jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Before that, I am streaming my ongoing campaign just before we lose some people. So it's Twitch/Open Legend RPG. That's bi-weekly on Monday nights, and actually Brad from RP Glory is going to join us for that. And yeah, so check that out. If anybody wants to see gameplay for an ongoing story. My game is very story focused, so it'll be the opposite of this. Not a lot of combat, a lot more just narrative stuff. So check that out. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Go straight ahead. Also, shout out to our boys over at RP Glory. Mitch.
Yeah, so two sort of things. One, sort of a general impression that I really liked about this system, and then one sort of specific point that I was hoping Brian could talk about because I thought it was cool. It came out in today's session. So just general impression. I know we talked about as a team sort of behind the scenes when we were reading the rules and getting prepped, not just the sort of micro innovations, which are sort of across the board as far as doing things differently from other RPGs, a lot of which we've talked about in chat. So the idea of having a non-class based system, the idea of having your sort of exploding dice, all the sort of creative decisions behind it. There were so many different ones, but one thing that we really appreciated was that it was a pretty accessible block or unit. So you're able to sort of take the rules and not need to read through like more than hundreds of pages in order to access the rules. So right off the top, I thought Brian did a great job of, you're taking a core sort of D20 system and you're implementing a bunch of different, like very new, not just modified from other sort of systems, but different ways of handling a D20 system. And you've got, several sort of innovative differences, but you presented them well. So that it wasn't like this big learning curve. It wasn't this big, long, mammoth thing. It was really accessible. So I thought that was cool.
Awesome,
one point I wanted to talk about from tonight, which is interesting, is how you decided to do the HP system that you did. So for those of you who missed earlier in the session, after our fight with what started off as the tree spawning monkey creature that turned into the stone golem, thanks, Chad. After that fight, Brian sort of pointed out that all of your HP comes back after each combat. And I know Will and I have talked in our Dungeon Masters taverns a little bit about how HP can be such a story like restricting system to begin with. Like it's just such a weird, especially when you get into high level characters, you've got like 70 to 100 plus HP, and it's like, what does HP really mean? How does this really function? It's kind of this nominal weird thing. So I thought that was a really cool decision in Open Legend to just like full on acknowledge on the face of it, HP is nominal and it represents what happens in the story for that combat. And you're going to gain your HP back every fight, so the focus isn't on that kind of war gaming resource management stuff. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about your thoughts on HP in general D20 systems, and then what you like about the option that you guys went with, which includes those sort of lethal wounds as well, which you can maybe talk a bit more about.
Sure. So I think, so I've always felt, so it goes well beyond the bounds of HP. I started hinted at it a little bit. All of your abilities are also at will. And so the idea was, for me, I find it really unrealistic because I wanted to create something that can be the engine that tells a story. I think I might have talked about this last time. But so in stories, it's really rare to see somebody's like out of gas in a story. It's not that they're out of gas, it's that they're almost dead because they've, taken damage. That's the real reason that a story ends. And so I think that what happened, we had a lot of great examples in here. Like if you take the golem fight that happened tonight as well, there was very little about resource management where there was a fear that the characters were going to sort of run out of gas or run out of hit points to survive the encounter. Instead, what happened was the story changed, and that's kind of what the whole Banes and Boons thing is about. You saw the same thing with the spiders being blown off the side of the cliff. They didn't have to be killed outright. And so, for me, I think that the idea of keeping so the hit points in Open Legend, they stay low. You only get hit points when you increase your attributes that supply hit points. So there are 3 attributes, which are presence and fortitude, presence, and what's the other one? Will. So those 3, whenever you increase your attribute score by 1, you get 2 hit points straight up. But I don't like the fact that people can eventually become immune to being killed. Someone can just be unkillable, so you have like 500 hit points. It's like, well, nobody can do 500 damage, so it's impossible to get the drop on that, that type of character or creature or whatever it may be. So that's exactly why the Banes sort of controlled the story a little bit more than the hit points do, because I found that's one of the things that for me was great about 4th edition. There's a lot of bad stuff about 4th edition, but the fact that you could sort of tweak the narrative a little bit with these little extra effects that would happen, I thought that was great. And so, Open Legend, borrows from some inspiration from that, except I also got rid of the entire spell book, right? That was the problem. It's like 4th edition had a whole spell book, which was annoying because it was terrible the way you had, like, at 5th level, there were 3 different things you could do, and you couldn't trade up or down, or it was, like, really bad. Sorry, maybe I'm a scathing critic, but
yeah, and when you talk about being able to, not only are all of the powers at will, or all the sort of manifestations of an action, whether it's through physical attributes or magical attributes, not only are they all at will in terms of the sort of combat resource management, but they're also all entirely malleable based on how you want to use it. So, like when I used the creation ability to strengthen the bridge, was sort of this creative, interesting, it wasn't a particular spell, make vine or something like that. It was just taking that sort of core attribute and spinning it in such a way that it sort of worked in a situation that I thought through. So that kind of openness as well in terms of how attributes turn into actions, I think is really cool and a core feature. Finbar just had his, what was your ice magic based off of? It was...
it's just my energy attribute.
So you just have this energy attribute that you can turn into any form of, not even just ice, it could have been any form of energy, but even just with your ice focus, you made it a pillar, you made it spikes, you made it sort of a wedge that then exploded. Like, the flavor potential is huge, particularly for casters, I think, when they just have this single score that can sort of turn into whatever they can think of.
Yeah, and I hate playing mages most of the time, but in like D&D, all the fucking spells you have to go through, but I enjoyed that experience. And also thank you to Gander1 for following. Welcome, my friend, to the adventure. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir.
So one thing I'm thinking about, what I wanted to say about that is also, one of the fun parts there is that not only are they malleable, like you described, there's a lot of systems where these kinds of narratives are malleable. That's actually not uncommon. Now, if you come from a D&D background, it's a little bit more uncommon. That was more common in 1st and 2nd edition, where there were less sort of like really concrete quantifications of different effects and abilities and stuff like that. But what I like is the fact that if somebody wanders into the territory of, I want to TKO, this other opponent with one hit, it's like we can't. It's like it prevents people from going crazy with it, because that's power level 5, and you need to use an attribute that has that, that you've met that prerequisite for, and if so, then go for it, right? But it's not like, oh, I'm going to roll this d20 with no modifiers, I'm going to hope it explodes, and I just do anything, right? Yeah. So
I think
anyway,
I think it's like Open Legend is a bit like more hippy dippy D&D, and that's a good thing. In my opinion. It's like loosey-goosey D&D.
You can use that as a box quote, man.
Yeah, you can use that as our testimonial for this.
Hippy dippy D&D Encounter Roleplay 2016.
Yep, heard it here first. Put it with all the hot exclusives.
Hot exclusives.
Yeah, but no, I definitely really enjoyed my time in Open Legend. But we are actually returning to playing Open Legend, are we not, Brian?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
On the 24-hour stream, we're going to play a game of Open Legend. And I believe you said something about Wild West, Brian.
Yeah. So one of the fun things about Open Legend is that it's open genre. So for people who want to see something different, then we wanted something real traditional fantasy. This is, as they said, it's very Indiana Jones. And so in the interest of that, like, my stream is a steampunk meets Savage Jungle campaign. That's my ongoing campaign, so it's a very different sort of a weird twist, and Open Legend really shines there because it's not genre specific, because you have these quantified banes and boons. So like Will said, on the stream, I'm going to run something that I've never done before. I'm going to run a Wild West, actually calling it Weird West for those who are familiar with like Deadlands. So there will be a bit of a black magic sorcery component. And since it's a short 3-hour game and we need to make something happen in a short period of time, I think it's going to focus on a standoff that takes place in some sort of tavern or saloon.
Nice.
What will happen is we will pre-write various motivations for different characters that hate each other or know things about each other that nobody else in the group knows, and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit of a taste about what that'll be.
Yeah. So that's on Saturday, the 26th of March. At the beginning of the stream, I think it's the second game, so I think it's 3 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m.
CED.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, we might have to do some time changes on that actually.
The schedule will be on the website.
Yeah, it'll be up soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to work in the time adjustments into everyone's schedules. Yeah, I just realised that as well, Geeky, because the 26th is one day after the clocks change, which is going to be pretty confusing because we actually go into the 27th when the clocks do change. So good lord, we couldn't have picked a worse day for the clocks to change.
That's terrible.
We'll figure it out. Maths will happen. We'll get someone clever to do it. But Finbar, tell us what you thought about Open Legend, I guess.
Open Legend? Yeah, I mean, it was very fun. Just kind of like, I mean, I play a spellcaster in our D&D game on Tuesdays, and so I'm getting back into the mindset of I have this many spell slots and I can do these sorts of things, and it was like, I want to knock some spiders off the thing. Like, I was like, what's the best way to do it? Do I like freeze the ground under them? Do I just pop them off? And I was like, it's the same dice roll. I could just make it sound cooler this way. It's do I think like what kind of like how do I think Crag thinks, and like how does that play into it? And I think I do like that kind of flexibility within the system. Makes it quite nice and easy to kind of just do stuff, which always is frustrating as a spellcaster in D&D. Of like you're just there like my spell sort of does this thing, so how much can I haggle with my GM?
Do
Yeah.
you know what else I like? I also like the fact that Reagan Avalon has followed. Welcome to the adventure, Reagan. You are a gentleman and a scholar, so.
The segues.
Yes, he is. So post this in the chat. I just posted it in our side chat here. This is called I Love D&D But, and it's actually about exactly what you just said. Finbar, this is by Ish, and it actually is, he is a college, he's a college professor, and he was at his local gaming club, his college gaming club, where a group of college kids were playing, they were learning how to play D&D. They're just sort of digging into it for the first time. And it's a cool story about how somebody thought they could take Ray of Frost and use it to ice the ground beneath somebody and cause them to slip. And the unfortunate news, which is that maybe your GM will flex and let you do that, but why should the rules have to mean that we bend them in order to achieve stuff that's fun?
I think basically it's the things that are maybe useful in the way I play like tabletop games aren't great. It's great for my GM because I know will probably speak from experience that I can be a pain in the ass when I want to try and get. Can I get this effect from this stuff?
Basically, all the time.
I just try and fictional position all that shit. What?
In and out of character, really. Just a general comment on film.
That's what's up, people. Hot exclusive.
Hot exclusive.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's happening now. Sydney, what do you think about it?
Yes.
I thought it was really, really fun. It's like a big improv game where there really isn't ever a no. It's really a game of yes and it's like very rare that I'll be like, can I do this? And you'll say no. It's nice to just be like, I don't know, I want to do this thing, and you're like, you can do that thing. The sky's the limit. The world
It's a
is your
terrible
oyster.
idea, but you can do it.
Yes.
I mean, even just your character concept, I think, shows the absurd awesomeness that is the open character creation. Like that alone. Like, how would you approach that concept in D&D? I don't know. Like, I want to be this Fey thing that has a tumor and has weird claw feet. Like a GM would just be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We're playing 5th edition. Like, there's no race for that." Like, yeah.
I would like to create a custom race where I built its natural features include giant head-mounted natural weapons. I'm then going to take these feats and this such and raise my strength and stuff. Boy.
Yeah.
Dakota says, Will does improv every Thursday game. One person gets a D10,000, send him to help, the whole party goes. Pretty much, that is what happened.
I'm sure there's feats for all that stuff if you're in Pathfinder, though, so you could
Probably.
do that.
Natural weapon
Yeah, I
expert
guess-
combined with power attack combined with cancerous survivor.
I guess the point is that you can game the systems in Pathfinder and D&D to make
Yes.
those effects, but it requires a lot of
time-
effort and time.
Yeah, like,
whereas with
if-
something like this, you can just
Yeah.
fuck it, just do it.
If that's the game you want to play, that's great. Like that exists for you. But this is the game designed for, hey, you want to pick this up and have a great time? Because that's what we did. Like, I mean, I think prepping
Yeah.
for this stream, I have spent maybe 30 minutes to an hour outside of the streams just kind of learning stuff, and it just was a case of I picked it up and I made a character in my head. I was like, that
Yeah, I
sounds
mean,
like fun.
it'd be great if you had like a bunch of friends that just wanted to play, but you don't have 2 hours to create fucking characters for your D&D game,
Yeah.
so you can just be like, fuck it, let's just download these rules, print them off, and play
Yeah,
a
like-
game.
If my
Two-
old D&D
2 hours.
group ended up in town and I was like, I would like to play a one-shot this evening, and be like, well, we can't play Pathfinder because it would take all evening for us to be ready.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 hours is generous. That's 5th edition, but if you're talking
Yeah, oh God, no.
4th or 3rd, something like that.
Please no.
Oh god.
All right, now Brian, you mentioned something like a hot exclusive. I mean, I'm going to credit you with more intelligence and self-respect that you wouldn't have actually used that term, but I believe the
I
term was
appreciate
floating around. The term was floating around.
So what is that? I'm sorry, I'm not getting the indirect talk here. What are we talking about?
You took my
You
loose, right?
said there was something of a plug of this particular module for chat for those who stuck around.
I
Stuck
think we
around.
dropped
till
it
the end.
already.
We've
Oh
dropped
yeah,
it,
that,
Mitch.
yeah.
Mitch,
That's
right.
you're behind the game, man. The hot exclusives have dropped, and you haven't even seen
I
them.
missed it. I missed it.
You missed
We're
the hot exclusive.
too hot for me.
Rookie.
Too hot.
Rookie. Can we drop
poor-
that link again,
Hot
chat,
exclusive.
in case anyone else like Mitch?
I sense a lot of.
If anyone
sort
like
of
Mitch
latent-
wants the, if anyone wants the tepid exclusive.
it's cooling down now.
The lukewarm.
Yeah, lukewarm exclusive.
I think
sense-
what is that? It's a lukewarm exclusive. We start to lengthen it back out again.
Oh, exclusive, yeah.
See, Mitch is not in the. It's not sitting in the GM's chair, so a lot of passive aggressive sort of, emotions are emerging right now. I
Yeah.
think.
He wants to
Funnily
be
enough,
that.
they all aimed at me.
Yeah, funny that. But yeah, Brian, I guess if you once again I'll ask you if you had like a plug to insert to give to chat to or anyone that's watching or might be watching this in the future as to why they should go and have a read of Open Legend or any kind of future teaser stuff that you can tell us about, then take this.
Give us your
chance
elevator
now.
pitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell me.
So I think my thought is that I think one of the this is like a bit of a preference thing, and so I'm trying not to be shy about the fact that Open Legend is trying to walk the line between being something like Dungeon World, which is all story focused and it's all ad hoc, and then something like Pathfinder, which is real gritty and crunchy in terms of lots of numbers and resource management and all that kind of stuff. And so this is meant to be for people who are in the middle, and I think for me that makes it great for beginners. Like you said, not a lot of really painful ramp up if you're trying to learn the game for the first time. Also, another thing that I'm excited about is having a sort of open-ended approach to creating content. So as content gets written for the game, like stuff like adventure modules and settings and stuff like that, because of the way we focus on the effect and allow the flavor that results in that effect to be flexible, what that means is you don't have to create a new feat or a new ability for every sort of like bit of source material or third-party content or something like that comes out. So I'm excited about that because I think it's a little bit of a shame to see people people who write third-party content spending a lot of time on mechanics. I'd rather it be really awesome writing and just story focused. So, you know, that's my bias, because I love a really good story. And for people who, you know, for people who don't know about the dichotomy between story versus lots of rules, I think that we really hopefully gave a great example of it tonight, where we saw what it's like to just say like, hey, you know, we need rules to make it fun and strategic, but the story is important too, and we want the rules to follow the story instead of the opposite.
Yeah.
Instead of the rules taking the lead and then say like, well, I took this feat, so my character must be like this. You know, I like for people to be able to use their imagination, and I think that first-time players really have that more than people who have, not in all cases, but it's like you get used to being limited, and then you just sort of like submit to this mentality where you're narrowing what your character's like and what you do in the game and that sort of thing. And I think that it's fun, the idea of taking people who are new to the game and just unleashing them and just have fun with their imagination as the sort of first goal, and then the rules will sort of